Greetings, friends. It's Podcast Unlocked, episode 231 for February 3rd, 2016. Guys, we're into February. That means a whole bunch of good video games are going to start to come out really soon. We're playing some of them now. It's good times.
Yeah.
One of those games is Unravel, one that we've been really looking forward to. Marty, you were with me that day.
When it was revealed, when we met Yarny.
And like the entire room, it was the E3 judges event, which is like forget it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But anyway, like
it was a TV with the game on it.
It was a pre-E3 thing, and it's a bunch of basically crusty veteran bastards such as ourselves who've like just been to E3 a million times. Hard to please kind of crowd. And EA's showing off all their stuff.
Yeah, a lot of sequels.
Everybody instantly went, "What's that?" As I smashed the mic. And you got I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. You got EA game over here, EA game over here, all these, and then, who's this Yarny guy?
Who's this Yarnman?
This little boy, I want to play as him.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
So, instant love with Yarny. Hoping the game itself turns out good. Mitch and I are playing it right now. We got
say that? We're playing it.
We're playing it.
Bargo Busters.
Review goes up whenever, but
that's my favorite term is
Bargo Busters.
Yeah, big time.
Love it. But anyway, the point of that, besides the fact that some awesome games are coming out this month, including Unravel. Well, hopefully Unravel is going to be awesome. Is that Martin Sahlin, the creative director on that game, who totally won everybody over at E3
by being a human being.
By being a human being on stage at E3 during his presentation instead of a rehearsed bot robot.
We're very excited about the future of electronic arts.
I don't think there's ever been such a giant gap between two human beings as him and Pele during that conference. And Hoop God.
Hoop God. I forgot about Hoop God.
Oh,
did you know one entire day of EA's E3 thing is just a fireside chat with Hoop God? A 9-hour fireside chat.
On the EA Play?
Yeah, it's 9 hours of Pele and Hoop God talking to each other.
You can attend this yourself in Los Angeles, public event this year at E3.
Don't do that. We had Hoop God try to big time EA during our Battlefront appointment last year at E3. Don't worry about it. So we were waiting to get into our Battlefront appointment, and EA had this like massive booth, lots and lots of stations because it's 40 players.
Yeah.
And they're shuffling people in, and Hoop God is like, "I was on stage. Let me in. I'm Hoop God." And the security guy like blocking the door was like, "I don't care. I don't know what that means. Like my job is to let people
You're
in."
Hoop God. I'm Door God. Door God says you're not coming to the door.
Door God's power blocks Hoop God's power. You can't even get in the building if you can't get past Door God. Anyway, so Martin Sahlin and I had a really good... Actually, I don't even know how long it was. I lose track of time with these things. It was probably 40, 45 minutes, something like that.
We got a big long podcast today.
Yeah, so it's going to inevitably be a long show with whatever we record now. So stay tuned for that in the middle of the show. And elsewhere, I'll want to real quick plug IGN Unfiltered, the other show. Since everyone here has to have 17 shows at a minimum. That's like the quota.
Yep.
Destin's on Fireteam Chat. Marty's on what isn't Marty on.
That's true.
Pretty much,
Mitch has got Overclocked.
You haven't interviewed me yet on Unfiltered.
That's true.
It's the only show
A long and storied career of Marty
At the rate you're going, you'll be a worthy candidate soon.
I got mad at Jared because he hasn't invited me on Vault, and then he replied with, "You've never played Fallout?" And I was like, point, counterpoint. Touche.
So Aaron Greenberg, from the longtime Microsoft executive, was my guest for the January episode that went up on January 31st. Yes. Or whatever that Friday was, close to the end of January. We went through a lot of interesting stories. He's been around since the beginning of Xbox. Like, if Xbox was its own company, he would have been like employee number 10 or something, effectively. So a lot of good stories there. He's played Sea of Thieves. He talked a little bit about what it's like to play Sea of Thieves, which I want to know about yet.
Like to play Sea of Thieves.
So please look for that on either ideally IGN, YouTube, or there's an iTunes feed for just audio only as well. But if you only listen to audio, not only will we not make any money,
that's true,
but you will miss my svelte, cleaned up
you were
look.
a fancy boy.
You professional up.
I dolled it up.
You get that once a month when Unfiltered rolls around.
Yeah.
And then also the E3 live show, but that's it.
That's it.
Or when a new Xbox gets revealed.
I just can't wait till it's T-shirt season again. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
Not a fan of that.
I wore a hoodie and a jacket, and it was not enough.
No.
America has made me.
We are, and then the rest of the country's like, it's 54
We're
degrees
buried
in
under
San
snow.
Francisco.
Yeah.
I haven't
Stop
seen
it.
my dog in a month.
Fluffy, no!
My family's disowned me because I'm like, it's cold and it's
They've
windy.
had to slice open the family dog and crawl
Yeah, they
inside and live in
tauntauned
it
him.
for warmth. And then
the dog.
Dog.
I like
Dog
that.
dog.
Speaking of which, are we getting Uber puppies today? Is that the
Oh,
thing
I
that's happening?
forgot.
Oh my god, I hope
It's
that's
time.
a
It's
thing.
11 o'clock. Somebody ring it up.
I mean, Andrew's
Tell
gotta
Goldfarb to do
gotta
it.
be doing it.
I want puppies to be here when I walk out of this room.
We're not supposed to bring puppies to work, but counterpoint, we're still gonna get those puppies to come to work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, buddy.
That's
Don't
what
die, Marty.
That's what the hit NWA song "F the Police" was about. It was about bring puppies to work when they say you can't.
Marty's allergies are kicking in.
Don't let the man hold you back.
Yeah, exactly.
Get those puppies in your office.
Yeah, bless you. Also,
Well, thank
if the puppies come, then I'm legally allowed to work from a bar.
that's true.
That was in my contract.
Yeah.
So more puppies.
They make alcohol out of
You signed a
barley,
contract.
not dander.
You're gonna
Not
need your
fur.
emotional support Mitch with you. So
My service Mitch.
Yeah, service human, like a therapy Mitch.
yeah.
Oh man! And then lastly, The Division is our IGN first game for February.
Yes.
Convenient timing that the beta just ended.
How about that?
In fact, it was a massive dice roll because we're like, all right,
Hope
we're
the
really
beta's
psyched about the
good."
game, but if this beta doesn't go over well, our month
Yeah.
is in bad shape right from the get-go.
I
But
thought that was a massive joke for a second.
eh,
That'd have been pretty good.
that would have been
Ooh.
pretty good. It's too easy with that studio
That's
name.
true. Yeah.
We gotta make it a little harder. Like Coldwood Interactive, makers of Unravel. That's
I was like, who the hell's Coldwood?
yeah. Start working some Coldwood jokes.
Was that their
into
first
things.
game?
No, they've done weird they have a series of ports and PlayStation
Oh.
Move games.
This is their like big like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
put
is
'em on the
their
map
first
game.
like not extreme sports phone it in kind of thing.
This
Like,
seems-
they-
Don't say phone it in.
I don't know.
That's
They had some-
disrespectful.
of
Yeah.
course, yeah, they're not lazy, of course, but they had some like iffy quality games back when.
Sure. Interesting. Coldwood.
So the Division is we're covering it all month long. It's all and we're focusing our coverage much like we did with our Destiny IGN first way back when, which that happened during the beta happened during our month.
Yeah.
We're focusing all of our coverage on the post beta stuff that you haven't played.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to go around the table and see what you guys thought of the Division because I streamed it. I played it live for my first time. The world got to see what
cool.
I thought of it. I wanted that game to be good so bad. We've talked about it on the show, and the beta just it didn't give me enough, which but on purpose.
Yeah. Mhm.
But it was enough to go like I think there's something here.
Yeah,
So
like,
I really think there's something here.
As bare bones as it was, because there were like 3
There's
to 5
one
different
story
kinds
mission,
of quests,
and
yeah.
then some side stuff.
But it's enough that I'm like, okay, this is a good loop. Like I can get into the habit of, okay, we just did Madison Square Gardens. Let's go rescue those hostages. Let's go over there and clean out this thing. Let's go do this. Let's find these tools. And like, there's a lot of stuff in that world to find and pick up and do. And I hope that loop works over the course of like whatever that campaign is.
Yeah, I agree. The loop was really satisfying. I'm hoping that the beta, just the way the beta was designed, was more claustrophobic than what the game will actually be. I'm hoping for a lot more freedom, sort of being dropped in Midtown and being like, oh, go wherever you want. Like that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping like, make my own sort of story. As opposed to, it felt like the missions were really like corridor and then combat zone and then corridor, and I'm like, well, this isn't. If you're giving me a giant open Manhattan as my playground, I want it to be a giant open Manhattan.
Yeah.
So.
I also just want more enemy variety.
Yeah,
I liked,
which again, a beta.
You get
like,
you
of
get
course,
you did get
yeah.
a touch of that. Like there's
Little
a
bit.
couple of the cleaners, the
cleaners.
flamethrower guys, and then there's like a couple of the purple color coded
Yeah.
heavies or whatever they're actually called. Destin, I know you brought a console to PAX South just to play this beta.
Yeah, streamed it on twitch.tv
What did you think
the
of it?
Destin channel. That's
Because
my
I
plug
regret
there.
I missed your Twitch stream.
Yeah, so I streamed it from the hotel room. Luckily, great upload, so everybody could watch me.
I'm sure the hotel
Shout
was
out to
thrilled
the
about
West
that.
End.
I was about to say, shout out to the Comfort Inn in
Grand
San
Hyatt.
Antonio.
Grand Hyatt. Everybody was like, "How are you streaming? What hotel are you at?" I want to know how to do that. But
Comfort in.
no, it was Grand Hyatt.
Motel
With,
6.
like connected right to the convention center. Anyway, game is really good. I have a few concerns. I want to do more in the single player experience with my buddies.
Yeah.
Comparing it to Destiny, like you can run 3-man strikes in Destiny and stuff like that, and you kind of do that. In this world, you got a little bit of that, but like you have to go to a map and like update it to get new quests. And like once you clear the world, there's not really anything there. Sometimes you'll have random encounters.
Right. But again, there
You
was like by design almost nothing in the beta, which was just like, oh yeah,
that worries me for the full product.
I would have liked a
you know?
little more, a little more.
That's the thing is like, you can fall back on it's a beta because they're probably going to have more. But I worry, like, what if they don't?
Sure, yeah. I
mean,
mean,
well, that's the point of our IGN first month of coverage,
just
to show
what
off
is there.
Yeah. So we've already got a little bit of that. We put up an 8-minute video on, you can go down into the sewers and do stuff down there.
Warlocks.
So we've got some sewer gameplay.
I like collecting the cell phones and like the little gadgets and stuff. But like
the Echo stuff is really cool.
Yeah, that stuff was pretty fun. And then I went to the Dark Zone and I had no clue what the hell was going on. I'm like, all right, these guys are being cool. They're with me. Why does it say on the back? Why am I getting shot? Like, what did I do? What did I do wrong?
Brandon and I were having a really good time in the Dark Zone actually because we could sort of work together where we could flank. Like if you shoot someone,
you're marked rogue.
Yeah, you're marked rogue. Yeah. And if you graze them, it's maybe only for a few seconds. But if you full out assault someone, it's for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You can also mess with people. Like you can shoot at them but not hit them, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're shooting at me," and they'll hit you, and now they're rogue, and you can take them down. Like you can bait people in.
Smart.
A lot of people had a problem with that actually, because there was no reason really to be good in the Dark Zone. You were more encouraged to kill other people and get their stuff and then extract it. Or like eventually.
Well, but you can
like
kind of you can kind of
scales.
work together though. You can sort of form those. So it does seem like the only question will be, will higher level players just roll it later? Well,
I mean, there needs to be.
Well, there's level caps for each area,
for
each
each
section.
So it's like
in.
1 to 7.
that's smart.
And then
that's
like
smart.
8 to 12 because we couldn't roll with our level 8 guy.
So my level
he
6
was too
character
high.
is never going to encounter a level 12, which was the max in the Dark Zone.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's more incentive to be cooperative. I think that's like they need a sort of balance of like, man, if I risk it and try to kill everyone, I get X, but if I play it cool and if we do this cooperatively, we get Y.
Right.
Like,
I was really digging the weapons, like the different weapon attachments you can get, how you're constantly getting that loot feedback, and you're like, ooh, this one's a little better. I'll put all my mods over here. And then you sell it, you get some money.
I love the fact that, to their word, it is like has some serious RPG elements to it. It's not just a third-person shooter that you're online.
I mean,
it's
built like a third-person shooter. It is not a shooter. It
No.
is an RPG.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
You see that when the way a bullet interacts with an enemy.
It's not a shooter.
It's
an RPG.
arguably
thing,
there you go. I'd say it's arguably more of a role-playing game than Mass Effect 2 is.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's closer to Mass Effect 1.
Yeah.
Which you know you'd have
'Cause
an
you can
enemy
do
in your
armor
reticule,
and-
and it would be based on stats and to be based on dice rolls and that kind of stuff.
Everybody's comparing it to Destiny, at least the Destiny community is.
We are too.
Okay, well,
we wrote a feature about it.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna like make that transition from Destiny to the Division. And one thing that Destiny did fantastic is just had all these beautiful set pieces. You got Venus, you got Mars, and they all look
Mars
distinct.
Was the prettiest.
They look distinctly different. The moon, Division. It's New York. You can go downstairs, you can go on rooftops, but for the most part, you're a real world New York, and there's nothing like visually that's dramatically different. And that's something I would love to see later in the game,
Maybe there's Central Park.
Yeah,
maybe Central Park's like all infected or something.
I mean, like
it
Central
is a
Park
virus.
is an obvious candidate for a really good Dark Zone.
Yeah.
Ellis Island, maybe. You never know.
Totally. Yeah, they said as the game, it's not going to be at launch, but they're going to have the different boroughs later on.
Yeah, like Brooklyn will be DLC down the line.
Kill all the
Tons of
hipsters.
Yeah, because it's like the whole game's a snow-covered New York. Like different seasons would be a good way to
that'd be
accomplish
great.
that.
That'd be that'd be really interesting, man.
That would have to be like
really
an
cool.
expansion though, where it's like, okay, the world stage is changing as a like Cataclysm and WoW. Where
Yeah.
it's different for everyone now.
Or like, what if? I mean, it's way too ambitious. But what if the game like updated sort of in quasi real time?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, that would be
reflecting the
summer in
real
the game
season.
summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be neat.
It's not unheard of. What Project Gotham Racing did it, or no, before that.
Yeah.
What was the PGR Metropolis Street Racer?
Yeah.
Did it in like
15
15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
The game like rockets you to level 6, like doing the story missions. Then it's just like brick wall.
Yeah, it's like Destiny, where it's like back when it was like, okay, can
Level
you hit
20.
level 25? Good
Yeah.
luck.
The 20 is in Destiny is when you started hitting that brick wall.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Overall, I think the community reaction I've seen to the beta seems very positive.
Yeah.
People seem,
Yeah.
and I think we're agreeing that the potential we were hoping to see, we haven't seen the full picture of, but it's still there. Our hopes are not dashed.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. Not ready to be like, yeah, get the division yet. I'm still kind of like, I need to like play the full game.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about it, but it's like I'm waiting for the thing that really hooks me. That makes me like, yup, I'm gonna spend hundreds of hours doing this.
Well, we do have a bunch of post-beta coverage coming up all month on IGN. Brandon Tyrell spent a week in Sweden at Massive to bring it all back. So he knows the game better than just about anybody else outside of Ubisoft at this point.
Much.
But remember before when we were talking about Division and I was so worried about the servers? For the most part, it was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
PC players, though, a lot of hackers on the
Big
PC
time
side.
cheating. We're going to talk a lot about that on Overclock today.
Yeah, that kind of sucks for them.
But PC Master Race, Mitch.
That's what happens when you're in the Master Race.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Whatever, that game will launch and there'll be VAC stuff. It's fine.
What's a vac stuff?
I don't even know what he just said.
It's vacuums and stuff.
Very awesome security. Security spelled with a C. I don't know if you know that.
Just going to take Mitch's word for it. PC stuff.
Okay, let me roll. Let's get out of here.
Prove me wrong.
Too early. Prove you wrong that security doesn't start with a C?
Try it.
I think
Do something.
society proved you wrong, bitch.
Society spelled with a C.
Merriam-Webster proves you wrong. Oh, my goodness. So that's that. We'll come back. We got some interesting news to discuss. Hey, let's start talking about E3 in February, shall we? Actually, we started talking about it last week in January. Who am I kidding?
Cool.
We'll talk some E3 news, some Killer Instinct, Star Wars, Square, Amy Hennig Star Wars game, and then we'll talk to Martin Sahlin from Coldwood Interactive on Unravel. So be right back after this. All right, news time, starting with some E3 news. We may have just, even last week when we were talking about EA's whole weird shenanigans that they're pulling at E3. If you missed it, listen to last week's show. You can attend E3 this year, at least EA's stuff. They're going to have all sorts of public playable things.
Did you meet Pele?
Yep.
Hoop God's going to be there.
Hoop God will be there, provided the bouncer lets him in.
Who is he? I have no idea.
Just don't worry about it.
Don't even sweat it.
I was going to say go watch last year's conference, but don't.
No, I was there. I don't want to go again.
Bethesda is, in fact, doing another E3 press conference this year. They said after last year's, which everybody kind of agreed went really well, Pete Hines did a great job hosting it. The content was solid. It was all gameplay focused. They didn't mess around with aging soccer stars or any of that stuff.
I think they heard our show and they're like, yeah, they're right. We should
You're going to take the credit?
Yeah, we'll take
Good
the
job,
credit.
us.
I totally didn't think they were going to have one.
No, I didn't
You
either.
are a madman.
No, I
did
totally
not
didn't
either.
think, because I don't. They're no matter what they have, nothing's going to be as big as revealing Fallout 4.
No, but they don't need
Except
to
for
talk-
Elder Scrolls 6.
which they're not going to do.
cannot
let's
this
start
year.
The
there.
Fallout 4 DLC for the next year.
That's not as
Exactly.
big as Fallout 4.
No,
Yeah,
but
it's
nothing
pretty
will
big.
be. Nothing at this
nothing
year's
is
E3
as
will be.
nothing at E3 will probably be as big as the reveal of Fallout 4.
But they still have other stuff. Like they have a lot of studios.
And
they have
that's
a lot of games.
That's what I want to talk about is what do we think is going to be there?
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
Destiny,
I'm saying
Fallout,
Fallout 4 DLC. There's no way they don't talk
but
about
that's
it.
that's a 5 to 10 minute footnote.
No. They could talk about the whole season pass, like all 4 episodes, go over briefly,
I would
like less and
zone
less
out.
Yeah,
info.
I think
would
it'd be
zone
super
out.
boring.
Yeah.
Why would that be boring? Like you have no idea what it is. Do you remember the Fallout 3 DLC content
Operation
they did?
Anchorage.
Yeah, it was like
There was some cool
you
stuff.
like
It was
infiltrated
fine.
like a slave quarters, you
It's-
fought aliens,
But
like
in
it was
a-
all unique, interesting
E3 to
things.
me isn't about DLC.
Correct. It is
Every
about-
E3 since Destiny was revealed has been about Destiny DLC,
See, here's
and
the thing
they
is-
take a 15-minute
Yeah, but
shot.
I don't
think-
find that interesting.
I think,
But they
the
also don't have a
Fallout-
press conference
Yeah.
that they're trying to woo people.
Well, okay, I'm not saying the whole conference is going to be Fallout 4, but it will be a large chunk.
It
of
also
course,
won't be
yeah,
like
yeah.
Operation Anchorage. It won't. I don't think, and I would love it if they did small, short story, standalone things. But I really don't think it's going to be that for Fallout 4. I think Fallout 4's DLC is not going to be that. It's going to be like what was the Skyrim one? The big one. It was huge.
like a
Oblivion had one too.
Oh,
where it's like-
Oblivion's was.
where you went to the Mushroom Palace.
Yeah,
Something
I
Island-
reviewed
something
it.
Islands?
Shivering Isles.
Yeah.
Shivering Isles. It'll be
Yeah.
a gigantic new space. It'll be somewhere you haven't been with characters you've never met. Like a smaller story like they did with Fallout 3, but on a much larger scale. I think it'll be a big deal. I don't think it's going to be a bunch of small things.
I would love for you to be right, but the idea of I would refute that only because a season pass, I don't think, like a season pass, I think sort of inherently it carries this definition of a lot of
Did they sell one of
pieces.
those?
What?
Didn't they?
Did they sell a season pass?
They did. They said,
Yeah.
buy it now, trust us.
Interesting.
Remember?
Right.
Okay,
and we
yeah.
ripped
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
As we do everyone.
As we do.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it could be a combination of both, right? Like, it could be, okay, here's the gigantic new area,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of short stories in it.
If it is a new area, it'll be within the existing world, and they'll like have you go through a tunnel or something to get to it. Because I don't think they're gonna like expand the map or like send you to, or it'll be a confined space like an alien spaceship because it's easier.
That's what happened with Shivering Isles. Is
Yeah.
you took a portal to it
Yeah.
from in Oblivion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, so Destin believes Fallout 4 DLC will be
That's a part of it.
a substantial chunk.
Yeah.
But you're advocating that.
They'll go over sales and stuff too during that time. Talk about the success of Fallout
Mitch Dyer,
4.
do we agree that your potential Mitch Dyer game of the year, Dishonored 2, if it delivers everything the first one did, because that was your game of the year from 2012.
Love that game.
That's got to be the headliner, right? Dishonored 2.
It'll be. I feel like that'll be 2016's Fallout 4, right, where it takes up a huge amount of the presentation.
Yeah.
You'll see long gameplay demos. You'll talk.
That's what I mean by headliner.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Raph and
Dishonored 2
Harvey
will
are going to
be
talk about
huge.
a lot. On
Yeah,
stage.
I'm super stoked for Dishonored 2, but I
Not
feel like
mainstream.
it's kind of a niche headliner.
But I feel like they want it to not be that.
Sure,
They
exactly.
want
I
it to
agree
be the
with
game
Mitch.
where you're like, because the first one did really well, but not to the point where it's like, oh, this is like Bethesda's big new
Right.
franchise.
It wasn't a breakthrough new franchise.
but with like a super rad like 10-15 minute demo, like you could definitely put
where
that
you
game
show
out.
off like a bunch of really awesome new skills, cool places,
Cool
big,
story stuff. Yeah.
Stealth
exactly.
and
Yeah.
That can
Story.
really drive
Yeah.
home how awesome this game is.
Yeah.
I hope so. I want that to be the next big thing because people who haven't played Dishonored are seriously missing out.
Yeah.
I still don't believe you, Ryan, that Doom's coming out before E3. Because
I agree.
They've been so
completely
they've
no
been
way.
so quiet about it. No PR.
They've been running. They just
no
did
marketing.
They just did a PC Gamer cover. They just did a
it
Game
was
Informer
GI,
cover.
yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
there was a PC Gamer cover
There
fairly
may
recently.
Do they have
but
anything on TV yet?
They've been well, most games don't do any TV
until like
Until
well, when is
yeah.
it? April?
I mean, they've said spring.
yeah.
So
No
that's
way.
That could be anywhere until June 21st.
up until E3.
Yeah.
But and they've been running. There have been 2 closed multiplayer tests.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it will be spring because that game's already been delayed.
I'll believe it when I see it. Just
I mean,
like,
that's fair. It's fair.
Their demo last year was pretty good.
Well,
like
let me
letting
put it
people
this
see
way,
what
though.
it was like.
Even if Doom isn't out before E3, there's no way it's going to be a substantial part of their press conference because it was a huge piece. It was like the number 2 game in last year's
Yeah.
press conference.
What they opened with?
They opened with.
I thought they opened with Doom.
They did. You're right.
Okay.
Thank you. They did. And it was a really great demo.
Yeah, it was great.
It was the first time we actually got to see the single player campaign.
Well,
in action.
if it's not Doom, I wonder what other major name that's a shooter they could
well, I was
possibly
gonna, hold
do.
on. Just hold on. Settle down. Elder Scrolls Online. You figure there'll be another big expansion shown
that's
for that
I'm gonna
probably.
do a real swift bathroom break then.
You know,
Yeah.
that's-
I think it's-
the
yeah.
ballad plays. You get to take a break.
Yeah.
You get to go pee
Andrew, I
and get
gotta
another
pee.
beer.
I'm taking the opposite approach. I'm predicting that this game is shut down in 2016.
Wow.
What?
Not shut down.
You are
They'll
nuts.
support it.
Oh.
They're
It's-
not going to continue.
It's just hit
adding
its
to it.
stride now that it's on the consoles.
I don't think it's gonna.
You're
last.
crazy.
You're
like
crazy.
now, like they have an established player
Like
base
it.
and everything.
Wild card, Mitch.
Yeah. Is it free to play or is it subscription?
It's pay $60 and then you don't have to pay anymore.
It's like
basically
billboards.
like
Okay.
Destiny, effectively.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you pay for the little DLC.
Do you
chunks,
know the
right?
public, like the damage it would do to the Elder Scrolls brand if
Yeah.
they shut that
Not-
game down?
I feel like they
It's
need
too
to.
harsh of a reaction.
I also feel like if/when they inevitably shut it down, it has to be like, but here's the sequel to Skyrim.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yes.
too soon
Yeah.
for that.
We're
I
devoting the
think.
resources to
you know.
Skyrim.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. So
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of tweets and we've gotten emails to the show. People think that, oh, well, of course they're gonna reveal Elder Scrolls 6.
Not a
No,
chance.
right?
Development of that
Not
game
a chance
is
in hell.
a dream right
It
now.
exists.
That's what
it might not
people-
even
yeah.
exist on paper.
It's in
yet.
Todd's notebook.
Pretty much.
I mean, it is.
See,
It's
that's-
the Fallout team is the Elder Scrolls team, and
Yeah.
so
One team.
Yeah, and so Fallout was done 3
4
months ago.
years.
Oh no, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
Fallout finished a couple months ago, so they are.
And they're doing DLC stuff, which
And
might, they might be
part
doing,
of the team.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Like it might be part of that team and part of the
Yeah.
team in Montreal that they just
Right.
opened.
Yeah.
People want that, and they're so hopeful for it. They're like, yeah, they're gonna say it.
I mean, here's the
curb
thing.
your expectations. That's
Chill.
not happening.
Video game companies,
They need more time.
well, companies, period, are predictable. I mean, well, forget it. Human beings are predictable. When something works, you're going to keep doing that something until it doesn't work. So that would suggest that they will follow the same plan for Elder Scrolls 6 that they did
4
with
years?
Fallout 4, where everybody knows they're making it, but they won't announce it until like the month before. They'll blow it out at E3 2018
Yeah,
because
that sounds right.
it's probably going to be a 3-year dev cycle.
Yes.
Fallout was 4, but there was a console
That was
transition
learning new
there.
hardware, Yeah.
Maybe we get a super basic tease.
I
next
don't
year.
think so.
But
I
that
don't
would
think so
be.
at all.
I don't even
logo,
think
so
so.
we
I'm
will
kind of with
say-
you guys,
Because
but like,
look at the
I don't know.
Look at the impact that Fallout 4 announcement and that Fallout 4 E3 presentation had, and they rode that thing right to launch with such a short window.
Remember how
and
they
the game
handled
was huge.
Remember how they handled Skyrim though? They did that tease of the wall,
But
the
I'm
brick
saying-
wall, and then logo, and
Yeah, but
that,
that
was
was
like it.
years
That was a
ago.
lot,
Yeah.
and they have since evolved from that to what they did with Fallout 4.
True.
Since
So-
then, Bethesda's become a publisher of
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
stuff, big stuff.
Smarter about how they market.
Yeah, I just think there's no reason why they would deviate from the Fallout plan with,
Yeah,
with
it
Elder
worked
Scrolls 6,
super well.
which means we all know they're making it. They'll deny it because they have to.
Yeah.
But also they have shareholders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think E3, May of 2018, it'll be, oh, here's the announced trailer, we're doing it,
Yeah.
and then
E3
E3 a month later, it'll
gameplay.
be the blowout, and then they'll run right to a November
I
release.
think that makes a lot of sense.
Not a chance this year. Sorry,
No.
sorry,
So,
fans.
Yeah, totally agree.
We want it to, but
I
not
would
gonna
bet
happen.
a steak dinner on that, not just an In-N-Out lunch.
Wow. Yikes.
In fact, somebody's going to owe me a steak dinner. Was it
Why?
Vince, I think?
What was
over
the bet?
Destiny 2? I think that was a steak
What
bet.
was the bet with Destiny 2?
Or was it one of you guys?
Oh,
Somebody
No,
said
you made
that-
the Battlefront 2 bet with Mitch, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's a Mitch bet. Somebody bet me that there wouldn't be a Destiny. It was the same thing, that there wouldn't
No
be a
Destiny
Destiny 2. It would just evolve.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Probably
So what
Destiny
else?
2 this year.
What
Yeah.
else at the Bethesda conference? I got to figure that Tango Gameworks
Evil
is
Within.
ready to show something, because that Evil Within came out fall of 2014.
Yeah, so it'll be almost
Yes.
2 years.
A year
after.
and a half.
Yeah. Dad's DLC out into the next year, though.
Yeah, but again,
They'll have
Yeah.
something though. Like
Do you think it's
part of the team
Wolfenstein?
will have been DLC.
No, Tango.
Or,
Shinji
sorry,
Mikami's game.
I'm looking at our
Evil Within
sheet.
Stop
2,
cheating.
maybe,
Stop
or
cheating.
something new.
Probably something new.
I think it's gonna be something new. Yeah, I don't think the Evil Within was received pretty well. I don't
Pretty-
think it
no,
sold
but
super
pretty well.
Yeah, pretty well. I
Yeah.
just don't think. I don't know. I don't know if that has franchise.
I agree.
Sorry, I meant to say not Wolfenstein, which I'm excited to talk about, but Evil Within 2. I don't think that'll happen. Do you guys think they're working on a different product?
Literally what we're talking
That's the
about.
conversation we're having.
It's literally
Destin.
the conversation we're
Destin.
having.
I don't know what's wrong
We're
with me
mid
today.
that
Never mind.
conversation.
He's
I
in
just
segue
wanted to
mode.
correct my mistake.
He's in segue mode.
Yeah.
So
I think, yeah, if Tango shows something, I think. I don't know. I imagine new.
I would
IP.
love to see Shinji Mikami go like crazy with something completely different.
Yeah,
Right? Like the Evil Within was sort of, what if I got to do
It's
Resident Evil 4 again?
4.5. Right. Yeah.
What if he did something as inventive as that for the new generation?
what if he did a VR horror game?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I mean, it's possible. I don't want that. Get me out of there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Because your dreams would be haunted for the
yeah.
rest of
I
your
mean,
life.
honestly, one of the things is I think everyone is going to have a VR section of their press conferences.
No.
Third parties,
Not
included.
Microsoft.
Not.
AR.
AR, yeah, HoloLens.
Yeah, so I think
I don't think this year.
I think this year, yeah, Oculus will already be out,
Just
Vive
Sony.
will already be out, Morpheus or
I don't
PSVR will be
think-
close to being out. I think we're going to definitely see. We know there's a giant internal team at Ubisoft that's
Yep.
working on
If
VR
Bethesda
projects.
does that, it'll be this game supports VR. It's not going to be we're making a
that
game
will, I don't
for
think that'll be a
VR.
thing ever.
Ubisoft
it will not be
supports
game support.
literally every platform
Yeah.
launch. It's part of their strategy. They,
Like you
Even
can
at a
play
Wii U
Doom
game.
with VR.
They had
That's
no
what I
Kinect
think.
games.
No. Like
And-
I don't think if you're making a game for VR, your game is coming out in VR.
Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I think could happen at this Bethesda press conference, because remember, it might be an hour, it might be an hour and a half, but we've already talked about Dishonored 2 as probably the 15-20 minute headliner.
We're gonna finish it up with a big old battle cry
Fallout
demo.
4 DLC, Elder Scrolls Online expansion, unless Mitch gets it canceled.
I don't think it'll be by E3. I think by
Wow,
years.
the
By
blood's
years
on your
end.
hands, Dyer.
Lady Macbeth. Something from Tango, whether it's Evil Within 2 or
Totally.
something else.
It'll
Now,
be a scary game.
The other thing I think could happen, and I want to happen, is a new title from Machine Games.
Yes.
The guys that, of course, they were the core members of the Starbreeze team
who
that
made
went
Riddick.
and made Riddick, and then they went and started the new studio with under ZeniMax and Bethesda. They gave us Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is one of the best first-person shooters, period, and particularly one of the best first-person shooter, single-player first-person
totally.
shooters in a number of
It was
years.
way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
Like, I went in so
Yes.
low, and I'm like, oh, this game's awesome.
After that first level that
Yeah,
was
as
just
soon as
not
you-
good, the rest of it was amazing.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. I wonder, now Bethesda owns all of id Software and thus all of id Software's properties. They just
Rage 2.
rebooted Wolfenstein.
I was just about to say, are we raging?
No.
We're not raging. No one's ever raging again.
Rage
But-
against the machine games.
I would love to see Machine Games give the Wolfenstein single-player narrative-driven shooter treatment to a Quake reboot.
I really thought we were going to see that last year.
I could
It's
totally get
exactly
behind
what I
that.
thought we'd see that last year.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a series that like has ever
Quake's
since
huge.
Ever since Team Arena, that game like has not caught that series has not caught a break. Like,
Well,
Quake
I mean,
4 was
I
good.
wonder-
it sort of lives a quiet
Nothing
life
blew
as the browser-based
Yeah. Yeah.
multiplayer sort of esport thing.
Yeah.
So that's where I was going to go with this, obviously, is that I think instead of doing a single-player narrative thing, as good as they are at that, I feel like if Quake is coming back, they're not the right team for it, because the team they're going to want for it is going to be religiously devoted to competitive gaming. Because
See,
Quake
but-
is so
But that's
important
exactly
to
my point,
shooter
though. I mean,
esports.
I feel like, how do you make Quake interesting again?
Yeah.
Have Machine Games make a narrative-driven campaign and make that universe incredibly interesting. The
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing they did
Yeah.
for Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Quake's really tough. That's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, and
No,
I think
there's some
they
good-
could do it,
there's-
though.
There's cool lore there.
Yeah.
In fact, you could even, I'm going to go real deep on you right now. The original version of Quake was more of a medieval
Yeah, it was almost
bent
like
with like
Hexen.
dragons
Yeah.
and
Oh, man,
stuff,
Hexen.
and you had an axe at one point, and then it sort of evolved past that, and they did went more with the pure shooter sci-fi stuff.
I really love that idea, but I also really want Machine Games to not be tethered to an existing property and to just like gloves off, go nuts with whatever you can do creatively, and just make your own thing.
But see, I want them to make that own thing out of Quake.
Sure.
Yeah.
Take Quake and sort of
I
redefine
worry-
what it
Right.
is.
Right, like make whatever
exactly.
you want, but call it Quake. Like it's make your own sci-fi thing, call it Quake.
Yes.
Yeah. I worry that like Duke Nukem Quake's kind of like I don't know if it could come back today the way that it used to be. Like I think if they announced a new Quake, sure that would be great, but I don't think
Duke's
it would
thing
get
though,
the
like the
resounding
problem with Duke is
excitement.
it has an attitude problem. Quake didn't.
Yeah.
And Quake is also,
but it's also like he's
it's-
talking about dragons and how it's kind of goofy
Well,
and stuff like
I'm
that.
getting
How do
off
you sell
track.
that today?
It's
You
not
know?
goofy. I don't know. Skyrim.
no, but
Skyrim sold.
they could also.
That's designed that way.
I mean, I'm talking about the original Quake had that sort of fantasy theme, and then the shipping version of Quake was a bit more. It's kind of had some of that, but it had a little more sci-fi. And then, I mean, they could do it in the vein of Quake 2, which was very much a
Dark sci-fi.
science fiction, dark sci-fi thing. But I just feel like those guys could make Quake amazing
Yeah.
again in a single player way that we don't get good single player games shooters that much anymore.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's hard for me to think of, but Doom looks great. So, I have faith that they could.
What if here, Mitch?
Do that.
I'm going to throw out a crazy idea, which
Hit
you may
me.
call me stupid for. You're welcome to do so.
That'd be real mean, Mitch.
What if we can both win on this? What if Machine Games does a Quake reboot, Wolfenstein style, but then the Battle Cry people make the multiplayer component for it? Because Battle Cry wasn't
That game.
It's not a bad game. I played it, but it didn't have a hook, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they quietly got rid of it.
Yeah, that game's definitely not coming out, right?
I
don't
can't. I
think
played it
so.
2 years ago,
And nobody
it was,
said a word about it last year.
correct.
And we're about to be in a post Overwatch / Battleborn.
That as
world
well.
where- Again,
Yeah,
we've
I
already
bet
talked
people
about how
are
the
like,
market
get
is,
away from those
well,
properties.
and we're also
No,
like
yeah.
the market's oversaturated and nothing has come out yet, which is insane.
that is
Yeah.
insane.
The hero shooter. I think one studio you left off here that
Yep.
I think we'll see
Hit me.
something is Arcane Austin. Sort of that
Formerly
that
Prey
team.
2?
Yeah, and
Oh.
so whether it's
Formerly Dishonored.
yeah,
Right.
And so whether it's whatever Prey became, or a completely new IP or something interesting. I think we
I'd
could
be
see
on
a
board
tease
for that.
from whatever they're working
That
on.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Prey 2 looked cool.
Like
the
I like you. You
concept.
can stay.
Oh, yes. I was about to say, I'll show myself out. Yeah, I'm excited, though. E3.
I think maybe take the Prey name off of Prey 2.
Praise.
Oh,
Yeah.
Prey's gone.
Yeah.
Praise the
Well,
sun.
that was Prey.
Yeah, but take what they had and make something better.
well, that was the thing. They couldn't. That was why
It's
Prey 2
somebody
got
else's
canceled.
game.
Anyway, final note on this: they will be occupying the same slot they had last year, so you're going to want to watch it live on IGN, 7 p.m. Pacific
Sunday night.
on Sunday night, which is June 12th.
Sunday's gonna be a real busy day.
Yeah,
keep it
we-
locked.
We got the EA stuff starts in the afternoon, so yeah, you gotta, like we said last week, you gotta plan your E3, move everything up a day,
Yeah.
add an extra day onto it, and we're gonna be with you all day with
earlier
obviously
too. Like we're gonna have pre-show for
coverage,
EA.
analysis, the whole thing.
Mitch
it'll be
will storm the stage and yell, "I was right" when ESO gets canceled, which would be a real
The-
weird thing to
the
say during
crazy
a
thing to do on
conference.
stage.
I knew it! I knew it!
They're not
Who
gonna
was that? Yeah.
give it time.
All right.
Well, everything gets canceled eventually. We're all gonna get canceled
That's some
eventually.
deep thought about life.
Stop it.
Did you guys do hot tokes before this?
All right. Next up, this is for Destin, so put that phone down. Pay attention.
Got it.
You, get,
Like I'm just
you can
busting
talk
you in
about
the
this
middle
for
of the show.
60 seconds and then we're moving on.
The Arbiter.
Yes, sir.
The once maligned, the lock of a previous generation, who has become now a friend, a beloved friend.
Just like Lockwill, Destin.
No, he won't. He's on. People are sending me pictures of his toy that nobody bought
I saw
on the
that.
discount shelf.
That crappy Target discount
Rows
shelf.
of clearance
Yeah.
priced are
Yeah. Nobody
Lock
wants
toy.
Lock. The
Oh, my
kids don't
goodness.
want Lock. The Halo players don't want Lock.
I went
Bring
on-
back Chief.
I went on
Microsoft.
somehow. I was on Amazon on the Halo 5 page, and
Yeah.
it's
Your
got
homepage.
thousands of customer reviews. You want to guess what the overall average customer review for Halo 5 is on Amazon?
3.
3 stars.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know why?
Because people love Lock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was all
Not
just like,
enough.
Why is it all Lock?
It's
Where's
not-
Chief?
see, we were just ahead of the curve. People were giving us crap, and like, no, just play the single player campaign.
You guys are giving me
Or
crap.
don't.
Anyway, multiplayer is amazing. That's why you
Yeah.
should have Halo
Yeah.
5.
So good. Rock
The
Pax.
Arbiter.
Halo 6, Chief kills Lock.
Yes.
Right?
Bullet to the head.
Yeah, that's how it should happen.
Opening
Anyway.
cutscene.
I don't want to call
Opening cutscene. This is how it ends,
What
Lock.
better way to just move on?
Blam! Let's do this right. He cocks his shotgun.
They're fighting together. Like the opening cutscene, they're fighting together. Blue team and Fire Team Osiris on the new ring that shows up. Whatever. You should have finished the game by now if you were going to finish
On
it.
Halo
I literally
6.
finished it and I don't even know what you're
I don't
saying.
remember that.
Whenever Halo shows up. I
And
don't know.
the Flood are there because I do literally expect the Flood to come back in 6. It's time. And
Get him outta here
a flood,
forever.
Yeah.
a flood spore jumps onto. He's got his helmet off because Locke does because he's an egotistical bastard. A flood spore jumps on his face. It gets into him, and then Chief just comes up and
Puts
just
him out of his misery.
execution style, and then the credit. Oh, Halo 6.
Counterpoint. I think
Chief is back.
I think Locke's gonna be this generation's Raiden, and I think we're gonna go from everyone making fun of him in a game
5
to him
years
being
from
the
now,
most
he'll be the most
badass
badass
dude who
dude.
has his own game.
For that to
Platinum's gonna make a
happen-
Locke game.
For that to happen, they have to cut off his arms and legs and make him a half robot.
I'm totally down.
Way
for
into that.
Yeah.
They
Dude,
did
I was
that
so
in
ahead of
Reach.
the curve.
A
I always
cat
thought Raiden
had,
was
had
great.
a robot arm.
Oh, really?
One of the
Well, that's what
Noble
happened to
6.
Raiden. He was like normal, and then they like destroyed his body.
Annihilated
And,
him, yeah.
How do you guys hate the dude's name is in our stupid show name? It's not called Unchiefed.
You like Locks? Was he your favorite?
This is
Look, that's him. That's him.
Anyway,
I hate you guys.
he's.
I don't even like
Back
Locke.
to
I
the
just like
action.
disagreeing with you guys.
It's not even Locke's
You're
fault.
just
it's
you're joining us on the
it's
We Hate Lock segment
the
of
writer's
Unlocked.
fault.
Yeah.
Our weekly segment.
Our weekly We Hate Lock segment.
Anyway, Arbiter might be
Microsoft,
coming to
He's
Killer
fighting Jago and
Instinct.
Saberwolves.
Arbiter
Django.
is coming to Killer
He
Instinct.
is coming to
Season
Killer
3.
Instinct. He is the perfect character for this fighting game. Like just with the sword mechanic and
Plasma
everything that he
grenade.
could do. Plasma grenades. They did a Master Chief female sort of type character in Dead or
What?
Alive.
Hold on.
A Master
Walk that
Chief
back.
type.
Walk that back. I mean a female Spartan.
Yes. A female Spartan, but
Masteress Chief.
you don't know. You don't know that until you like get pretty far into the game. So for everybody else, they just thought it was Chief.
Spartan 458 Nicole.
Yes.
And I had to look that up.
Also, Nicole is like the least heroic name. It's not like, sorry to anyone named Nicole. It's not a real heroic name.
One of Blue Team's, Master Chief's best friend's
Linda.
name is Fred.
Yeah.
Fred! Zoinks, yo! We got a mystery to solve, Scoob! What?
Nicole. I'm
So
gonna fight this puma. Are there pumas in Dead or Alive? No, that's Tekken.
No.
Never mind.
So this was
Hey,
revealed.
Nicole, when
panda.
you're done,
The leopard head.
I'm gonna go play volleyball now.
meet me at the mall after the war is over. Let's meet Fred for some drinks at Sbarro. For a slice.
Oh, Sbarro. Wait, so is Arbiter voiced by Keith David?
No.
Well,
What?
I'm out.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, but he's fighting, so it doesn't really matter. So I was at the Killer Instinct World Championships when
Yes.
this was revealed. You
Yeah,
know, they
talk to me.
revealed Kim Woo, who everybody really, really liked. And then at the end, there's a tease for Arbiter, and they lost their minds. Like, the fighting game community is really excited. Everybody, I think, kind of gets how he's going to work in this sort of game. I think it's great that the Halo world is coming to the Killer Instinct world. They're doing it with Battletoads also. So
Marcus
Yeah.
Phoenix coming soon.
yeah, and they did a great job with
Come
Raz.
on!
I can't wait to see what they do with Arbiter, but I can kind of like figure out some of the things they can do, and that gets me excited enough.
Have you seen the Left 4 Dead and or Skyrim mods where it's just Macho
Spider-Man.
Man Randy
Oh, yeah.
Savage?
It's
Where
pretty
every 2 seconds it's just like, oh yeah, brother, yeah. So what if that were applied in the same way to exactly what you're talking about?
What?
I get behind
You
that.
guys lost
I
me.
totally get behind that.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna make me get back on board with Killer
That would
Instinct.
make me say, "Oh yeah."
Why do you think they went with Arbiter and not Chief, though? That's the question. I think I
Just
know.
'cause
I
Chief
think
is
it's
sacred.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't-
like they put a Spartan in Dead or Alive.
Yeah, but it wasn't Chief. It was Nicole.
So why didn't they put
Nikki.
Nicole in this game? Why did they go Chief? Why do you think? Or why did they go Arbiter?
I would say Keith David, but apparently that's not applicable.
Yeah.
No.
Keith David's cool. He's a cool man.
Well,
He doesn't like do voice acting. Like
Because,
he's just
well,
kind of been
first of all,
quiet lately.
By
just did Halo
2006, 2005, Arbiter wasn't liked yet. People
Yeah,
still
that's a good
hated
point.
him from 2004.
yeah.
So his script
He also
hadn't
kind of got
flipped yet.
short shrift in Halo 5, so maybe it's like, oh, you want more Arbiter?
I
Here
mean,
you
just
go.
also like how we're gonna be talking about Locke in 2019.
My man.
I hope his outro animation is Arbiter kills Locke, and then he's like, "Supreme victory."
Wait, is that even Killer Instinct? Isn't that Mortal Kombat?
Well, in Killer Instinct, everybody has like an outro animation when you win. So maybe it's like him killing a
I
Spartan.
like the idea that canonically
Instinct is canon?
Locke dies in the outro animation of Killer Instinct DLC.
How can we get rid of him quietly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I guess I'll talk about that. With the
Is
next
this
segment,
what you
but-
wanted?
In Halo 6, they'll just reference like, man, it was really, really messed up for that Battletoad.
Also, man, remember when I fought a dinosaur? That was wild. And that
Literally a werewolf ripped his eyes out.
there was a skeleton and a sort of slightly
into a robot.
slightly offensive Native American character.
Season 3 out March something or other only on Xbox One. Okay.
How long till Dave Lang is just in that game?
5 minutes. I'll build in that office.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So this week we were promised a convergence of two of the greatest properties in entertainment. This was an email that was sent to media outlets that instantly caused all of us to roll our eyes into the back of our heads.
Well, we were also really dumb about this. We were like, I guess it's maybe a Lego game, but
Well, I
maybe
was
like
like
Batman
versus
Superman.
I
Yeah.
thought it was going to
Justice
be Mortal
League.
Kombat, something else huge.
Yeah, I did too.
'Cause it was WB. One of those.
Literally
Yes.
nobody in this office said Lego Star Wars.
Which is the most obvious.
Of course it was Lego Star Wars. We're so stupid.
I thought it was Lego American Sniper.
I thought it
Or
was
Lego Blindside.
Mortal Kombat versus American Sniper.
Bradley Cooper is taking back Iraq, block by block.
What was the stupid joke that I made?
Dirty Harry Potter.
Dirty Harry Potter?
Oh god.
But yeah, it was actually Lego Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Which I was like,
Makes sense.
I saw the announcement, or I saw like the night before the Amazon listing leaked, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, of course it's that, but like, maybe it's a little late. And then I saw the trailer and was like, nope, this is perfect.
This will be like 2 months after the Blu-ray comes out.
Their sense of humor just still resonates with me. It's still so good and charming and funny, and it's so joyous and so in on its own joke. Just gets it.
I would also expect that this Lego game has an even higher budget than all of the other ones do.
Yeah.
Like,
if it looks like that
good.
trailer, good God, because it was so beautiful.
The thing I'm really confused by is because this is going to be the 4th Lego Star Wars game, because you had original trilogy, you had the prequel trilogy, which sort of ended up becoming one game, and then you had the Clone Wars game.
They're all good, though.
They're all good. Yeah. They all draw from a much deeper well than one movie. And some very interesting.
Well, they talked about how this was going to bridge the gap a little bit between Jedi and
and there's a
Awakens.
mission called the Phantom Limb, and so we all assume it's how 3PO got his dumb red arm.
Well, they're making a comic about that.
Yeah,
are they?
So they could definitely do that.
I like that canonically we find out how he got his arm from this game. This is just the episode about how canon is now just in weird places.
Yeah. It could also be like I don't know.
Yeah,
I was going to say like a Luke Skywalker thing, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of all the Lego games, like Indiana Jones was 3 movies, or 4 movies, I guess.
Yeah. The Hobbit.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, The Hobbit was 3 movies. Lord of the Rings was 3 movies. Harry Potter was 4 movies and then 3 movies. It just seems like, I don't know, we all saw Star Wars. Like, is there enough in that thing to... I mean, I guess what you do is you take a 5-minute scene, or a 5-second scene, and you turn it into a 20-minute level.
Right. Yeah, and you could also do interesting stuff. Like you could do it like have a mission as Kylo Ren trying to find Rey, and it's
Jump
not
perspective.
It's not just the hero's perspective because they have so many characters in those games. That you get to play as.
Or you just do a bunch of different
villains.
campaigns. Poe's campaign and Finn's campaign.
Or like when Finn and Poe crash in the desert, like more stuff happens in the desert.
Yeah.
They already showed that level. The opening scene of the movie with the old Max von Sydow and then Captain Phasma and all that is like a level in the game, even though it's like, what?
Is it?
Yeah.
I only saw the trailer that was like the mimic of the original.
Might have made that up.
I like the parts when Captain Phasma showed up to deliver one-liners and then you don't hear from her again.
Oh, Phasma. She's coming back.
That's such an underutilized character.
Game of Thrones season 5 or whatever.
I hope that they don't change anything. I hope Max von Sydow's character is like totally humorless and is still like, I've traveled too far and seen too much to know the despair in the galaxy. Without the Jedi, there can be no balance in the force. It's like everyone else is like, he's like
juggling chickens and everything. BB-8's being all wacky.
If I smack you in the face with my Lego lightsaber, will Lego coin pieces come out that I can collect from your corpse?
Oh, that's all that matters.
There could be a Kylo Ren training level, like how he became so strong.
They had the cast of the film. Like John Boyega was tweeting that he was like super stoked to do Finn in Lego. So I don't know if there'll be actual VO, but they have the actors doing the like.
Yeah, I mean
weird
that was
Lego
how
Simlish.
Marvel Avengers.
Is there
no? It's speech. There's speech
cool.
now. But it was really weird because they pulled lines from the Avengers. They got most of the actors, but they didn't get certain ones. So like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans were talking, but they couldn't get Gwyneth Paltrow. So it was a completely different actress.
They got Downey?
Wow.
Yeah, but they didn't get. They literally just ripped the lines from the movie, and they sound super out of place because they take a scene in the movie where there was background noise and there was music, and they just isolate
the stem of the
video. And so it's just like a single line. They got literally one line, I think, from Jeremy Renner, so he says the same thing over and over and over. And it was really dumb. So I'm hoping it's handled better in this.
Rough.
Yeah.
So that might sell a copy or two, I think. Lego Star Wars Episode
Especially
7.
since this will be the first proper Episode 7 game.
I don't know if we did this or if it was their trailer, but did they recreate the trailer
It's
side
the
by
same
side?
thing. It is the original
And
trailer.
then we put it side
beat
by
for
side.
beat.
Yeah.
We did that.
Yeah.
That is a really cool
Well,
video.
I think it was like a
Well,
Facebook
yeah.
video.
Yes, we put up a video
They
that
put
just
it on the
shows
T and we whacked it.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Square has announced that they'll announce the release date announcement for Final Fantasy 15 on March 30th.
Ryan, you used the word announce a lot there.
I know.
Knock it off, Square. What the?
No, I think this is fine. I think the idea of this is real dumb, but I think 3 games get a pass. I think Final Fantasy 15, because that game's been in development forever, and we've been covering it literally for 7 years. I think The Last Guardian, for same reasons, and I think Half-Life 3. I think those are 3 games that get a pass in terms of we're going to create a little event, and we're going to hype up that event, and
Also,
that's going to happen.
you'll never get that for Half-Life because you're going to wake up one Tuesday and the game's going to be on
We're never going to get that because we'll all be dead. That
that's
game will
right.
never come out.
It's not a
Half-Life
video
3
game.
has never happened.
So,
Gabe Newell on his deathbed will be like, it was never real.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm just being hypocritical because I really like Final Fantasy, but I'm fine with this one.
Well, that's the thing. I just, I know our entire lives are based on covering this stuff.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a line where it's like, this just kind of annoys me. Like, don't announce the release date announcement.
But at least it
Just
was.
tell me when it's coming out. I mean, the only way that this can fix itself for me is it's okay. You're going to announce the release date on March 30th. We get to March 30th and they're like, it's out tomorrow. Boom.
Mic drop. Oh my god! And then Dan just has
that
a
would
heart
make
attack.
it okay. But if it's just like if we get to this March 30th thing and it's like, well, it's out in spring of 2017.
No, they've confirmed 2016.
It is this year.
It is 2016. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll just be fall.
Well, of course.
September, October.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it was also, this was part of the active time report they had, which was like an hour where they showcased a lot of behind the scenes footage, and then they had this really cool 3-minute trailer that showcased.
It's really cool.
Yeah, some stealth
Oh my
stuff.
God, the game
looks
looks so
like
good.
Metal Gear.
Yeah, we have all this new footage and
Yeah, we
the
have
new
almost like
character
Marty did a
reveal
rewind
on
and
it.
sort of
rewind,
analyzes
yeah.
all the combat and the
Yeah.
new spells and all the
new UI.
stuff like that.
Yeah, super cool.
First time I heard about this game, the ground literally shook.
What?
We were in Japan. There was an earthquake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's worrisome.
I was like, this is a weird segue.
I was like, yeah. So I don't know. I think we were talking about this on the podcast yesterday. I think this will be. I see the game occupying sort of that Metal Gear Phantom Pain slot early September. Like get in before
The
sort
first
of own that
mover
month.
advantage.
Own that month.
Yeah.
Whereas what come October, November, it's just gonna be terrifying, and every week something's gonna
Yeah,
come out. I see
that's
this
true.
being like, hey, we're gonna come
So
out
what are-
September 9th or something, and you have 3 weeks to play it before the next big thing.
Because like
Which will
quickly,
probably be Persona 5.
quickly, what are the other big third-party games
Mass
this
Effect?
fall? Right,
theory.
Mass
Yeah.
Effect. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the big one.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the
whatever,
big one.
whatever's gonna fill
The Watch Dogs thing that
I was
we were
either Watch
speculating
Dogs
about.
or Ghost Recon.
Oh,
or
Ghost Recon,
For
right.
Honor.
Ghost Recon will be next year.
I don't think.
You think so?
Yeah.
They need
Yeah.
more separation.
They're not shipping an Assassin's Creed Egypt thing this year, according to that whole
Yeah.
leak. So they're going to need
I think Watch
something in
Dogs
the
2
fourth
will be
quarter.
that one.
Wait,
Could
no
be.
Assassin's Creed this year?
That's the rumor.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
From the Kotaku leaks.
yeah. I have For Honor, and I think I don't know. Ghost Recon maybe has a chance.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed it off. It was E3 last year.
Yeah, and they showed off that
so-
giant demo.
And I saw the real game running on a PC behind
Yeah.
closed doors.
yeah,
It
and I
looked great.
imagine show it. Have
I would
2D
love it if it
shows.
was this year.
Oh,
I want to
yeah,
play that
totally,
game forever.
Yeah.
Seems awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are obviously Call. We're gonna get Call of Duty. I think we'll get a Battlefield.
and
Destiny
A
2.
Battlefield something.
That's I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
but the rumors
yeah,
are
right.
that it will not happen this year.
Kotaku's
right?
ruining all of our
Well,
fun.
I thought they said. I thought
That's the rumor.
I thought the rumor was
Yeah.
it was September.
No,
They're
the
delaying,
rumor was that it was going to be this
And
year,
now
and
it's
now it is no
delayed.
longer.
Got it.
Yeah.
And we say rumor, but Kotaku has a pretty
Yeah, I
solid
mean, they're
batting
yeah,
average.
their
Also-
AC sources and their Destiny sources, not bad.
So shortly after that article was released, there was also a shift of power at Bungie. So
That's right. Oh man, I was
yeah.
out for all of
huge,
that. Yeah.
huge piece of news.
Yeah, you
there.
guys go into that on Fire Team chat, no doubt. With
I actually
Pete
wasn't here
Parsons.
this Friday,
Yeah,
but
Pete
yeah,
Parsons
Pete is
being-
now COO.
replacing Harold
CEO.
Ryan.
Harold.
Sorry,
He's just
CEO.
out now, right?
He was
I guess.
COO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
idea if it was amicable. I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Pete's been at the studio a long
He's a
time.
cool dude. I
I-
really am happy that he's in that seat.
I've
He's
known
like
Pete.
the guy to
He's a
own
good
that
guy.
franchise.
I like Pete.
He's on the up and up.
I've known him since the Halo 2 days
Wow.
when I would go up to Bungie to cover Halo 2. So anyway, look for Final Fantasy 15's release date to be announced on March 30th.
He also said there's going to be another demo.
That's
And
cool.
Whether that's
great.
like Dusk Sky, where it's going to be like a new thing, or whether it's like
standalone
a
thing,
small
or
a standalone
a
thing, or just a
tie-in.
slice of I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited.
Star Wars news, Mitch, right
I like,
up your alley
I
here.
like that Star
Stairs
Wars.
Wars.
Talk to me. You are the Star Wars king at IGN.
Thank you. Emperor, I prefer.
Emperor Dire.
Yeah, so on the EA had its earnings call this week, and during the Q&A, Blake Jorgensen, who's EA CFO, said, quote, the full quote's not here, but basically, Amy Hennig's Star Wars game at Visceral won't be ready for a few years. That means 3+.
Yeah, he mentions the exact quote here. We're down to less than 15 major SKUs. And that feels like a good size of the business, and we are obviously announcing that we are investing in some action-based SKUs by bringing people like Jade Raymond andAmy Hennig into our production.
I feel like
pardon me, into
major
our-
SKUs must mean like IPs, titles.
well,
Yeah.
big budget
Franchises.
things, not like Despicable Me for
Right.
iOS.
But SKU, and also SKU usually refers to like a console when you're talking about hardware.
No, I mean a SKU is a game. It's a product.
Well, it's anything that occupies a shelf.
Correct. Yes.
But I mean, so we're talking about 15 different things, not like, well, Madden's 10 SKUs because it's on everything.
Correct.
Right. It's like
Exactly
Madden as a
right.
franchise, Mass Effect.
Exactly.
Sure, each of the
Mirror's
sports
Edge,
things. Yeah,
the game on the shelf.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, the Jade Raymond, which I mean, that studio was just set up.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise
Yeah.
that that's a few years out, but it is a little bit of a surprise that Amy Hennig's Star Wars game at Visceral is probably still a few years out, given that
Yeah.
it seems like they've been working on it for what a year. How long has she been there now?
Yeah, I would imagine when she came in, they started over whatever was happening there.
Correct.
So however long she's been there, they've been doing pre-pro. I would imagine that game is like now in full-on development.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and
And
also,
then Motive is also working on that game in some capacity.
yeah. I'm again, I don't know if this is how any of this works, but I don't know if the giant success of The Force Awakens would have caused like a pivot at all in development, a sort of like, well, let's take a breather and analyze what people are now love about Star Wars once again.
Or
and
if it's
then-
like the success of that movie and it's like, oh, cool. Right, people like Star Wars. Let's like give them a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
To
We
make
don't need to
this
rush
game,
this, yeah.
And then we can, fill it with some smaller stuff in between.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I like this because it seems like it won't be. I mean, you mentioned that it won't be rushed, but I thought maybe they would try to get it out around Episode 8,
Which
and
makes sense.
which was
That's
just delayed.
3 years away.
No, it's 2 years.
Is it?
Yeah, because Rogue
Yeah.
One's this
yeah.
fall.
But if
Absolutely.
it's
What's the
even
order? Oh yeah, Rogue One 8, Han Solo 9, Boba Fett.
But if it's even longer, so to go back to our theory from recent shows, if everybody but Mitch is correct, and there is a Battlefront 2, and it's fall 2017,
Do you want 2 Star Wars games that fall?
no. So you would think then if Amy Hennig's game is a few years away, it can be not in the same year as a Battlefront game.
Yeah, but
Right?
also, I mean, that's
2018.
That's
So do we think-
assuming it's a fall game.
Right. So
Give the Amy Hennig team
True.
as much time as they need. She'll make something phenomenal. Just let them do their thing.
course.
I don't care. Take as much time as you want.
So do we not think the Battlefront 2 will come before the Visceral game?
No, it will.
No, it
I
will.
think Battlefront 2 will come out next fall.
They just won't be at
2018,
the same
or
year.
2017.
Wow. No, they definitely will be the same year. Huh.
I could see fall 2017 being Battlefront 2.
Right,
and then
that's what I think,
maybe
too.
summer 2018 being Amy's game. Gamey's aim.
Gamey's game.
Gamey's
Yeah,
game.
I'm
You guys
starting
really
to
like 2018.
I'm starting to air more.
Today we do, apparently, yeah.
I'm starting to lean more toward Ryan's thinking that Battlefront 2 will be like that trilogy, right? Like it'll be the new Stormtroopers, it'll be the Resistance, it'll be all that stuff.
Space combat.
Because I think the last
Spies.
part of the season pass with that EA has announced is obviously going to be
Rogue
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% right
Which
on that.
they can
Our last
they can
week's chat.
reuse assets, they can and they
Yeah.
can give people like new shirts and stuff. But like the
Oh,
stormtroopers,
new shirts?
stormtroopers will be the same. Vehicles are the same. Like they can repurpose those assets really effectively for wherever that movie's going to be set.
Good points. Good points all around. That was more news than I thought it would be this week.
So much news.
Good chats. Good chats. Mitch Dyer, anything worth spending money on this week? Anything we can spend our money on
Nah.
this week?
There are no video games. Video games have been canceled.
That was quick.
As usual, nothing at retail because it's February.
Well, what's so
on?
next week is Unravel.
Firewatch and Unravel.
Although Unravel's not retail. True. But
Is there
Dying
anything
Light
major next week?
sequel, like expansion.
is that
Expansion?
out?
I don't know
that
when
was
that
also-
is.
That's
On
right.
the
That was
9th.
dated.
It's out on the 9th.
9th?
Yeah.
Okay, so next
you're right.
Tuesday.
And that is retail and digital, I think.
Is that? I didn't know that. Cool. Yeah, nothing to retail. Digitally, we've got the Living Dungeon for $12. Don't know what that
It's
is.
like a tabletop looking,
like a D&D style thing.
kinda, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Looked interesting.
Level 22 for $7. Shrugs. No idea. And Cobalt for $20.
I've been getting a lot of tweets about this.
That's-
People are
I've
very
heard of
interested
Cobalt.
in it.
That's
Mojang.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Well, Mojang
overseeing it, and there's another
oversaw it,
developer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We haven't played it yet. We don't have
It's
it
like a
yet.
2D action something.
Yeah,
Is it a platformer
side-scrolling
thing? I
yeah.
saw somebody
something.
playing it today, I think. At least I think that's what that was.
I'm sure. So yeah, we will. I'm sure we'll have a review.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be as soon as we can get it up.
Rise of the Tomb Raiders, Baba Yaga DLC, Temple of the Witch is $10.
Marty!
Yeah, we did
This
it,
one's for
guys.
you.
Giant chicken house.
Or, yeah, the thing's weird. Or that's in your season pass if you bought that, regrettably.
Throwing the judgment on there.
We threw the judgment on that
We did.
thing
We did.
very aggressively. February's Games with Gold is I assume this is for Xbox One. We're gonna do it right. All month long, all February, you're gonna get Hand of Fate.
Is that the video game adaptation
free.
of
Of
the
Manos.
hit film Manos Hands of
I would
Sadly
totally
not.
play that.
I would totally Torgo.
I believe
The
Hand of Fate is
master
a card game.
approves.
which is not Metal Santa Fate at all. From February 16th to March 15th on Xbox One, you can get Styx, Master of Shadows.
So not yet.
Which seems like an underappreciated stealth game where I think you play as the villain.
Sorry.
That's good.
Someone likes Metallica.
On Xbox 360, Sacred Citadel is free until February 15th.
Oh.
And Gears of War 2, Razor Hail, from February 16th till February 29th.
You know,
which there is one this year. Shout out
anyone-
to February 29th.
If anyone checks out Styx, Master of
Leap year.
Shadows, tweet at me. I'd really like to hear what you guys thought of it at Destin Legary.
If anyone's listening to Styx, don't tweet at me because I don't like Styx.
Also, tweet your favorite Styx songs leading up to that point at me also.
What other Metallica albums would you like to see made into video games?
There was going to
Let us
be a
know in the comments
Metallica
below.
video game a long time ago.
called Guitar Hero Metallica.
No, before that, it was like
Like an action
like
game,
a
I
Twisted
think.
Metal type thing, wasn't it?
Oh God,
Wasn't
yeah.
it?
No,
Yeah.
yes, you're totally right.
And then it
Was the
somehow,
boss of the game Napster?
and this is this is a long ass time
God, it was
ago.
like
This
Tour of Destruction. Or
Yeah,
There was
thank
an
you. Look it up.
Aerosmith shooting video game.
Yeah, Revolution X.
Revolution X. We can do this
So,
when we get back.
speaking
but
of
or you can
Aerosmith,
advance.
Armageddon was on at a bar last night, and it is really weird that
the
game.
worst
There is a couple.
Aerosmith song in the history
Don't
of
wanna
time.
close my eyes.
God, I
So
hate
wait,
that
so
song.
that song is playing in the background when Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler start getting it on. I'm like, well, that's weird to play her dad's song while this is happening. And also, at the end of the movie, when spoilers, Bruce Willis
Sacrifices
sacrifices himself with Ben Affleck, he says, "You're like a son to me." And I'm like, well, your son's about to go have sex with your daughter when he gets back there. I started playing. I'm like, this is a really weird movie.
I haven't seen a movie in a long time.
Yeah, real weird.
It was called Damage Inc., obviously,
Oh yeah,
which makes sense.
that's great.
Glad that didn't happen.
Were we right about what kind of game it is?
It was a vehicle combat game.
That's right. Okay.
Canceled in PS2 era.
yeah.
Unseen64.net. Really good website if you want to learn
Love
more about
Unseen64.
canceled video games.
Ooh yeah.
It was a game featuring the band Metallica in development by Black Label Games, and it would have been published by Vivendi for PS2. Of
course it
Little is known other than it was a racing game looking possibly like Twisted Metal using vehicular combat.
Yeah.
Inspired by Metallica's music. Below you can see concept art. And
Oh my goodness.
there's a CG video or two.
The three weapons you can use are fuel, fire, and that
which I desire.
Damn, that's a good joke. I love it.
I want to
Marty.
get out of here.
I just thought of a terrible joke. Super dark. Not even going to say it. I'll wait till we're off air.
Okay.
But it's, yeah.
IGN After Dark.
We'll be right back with the Martin Sahlin interview. Learn about Unravel and where this game came from. And I think it was a really interesting conversation. I hope you agree. Enjoy. My guest this week, you will know him soon if you do not know him already. He is the creative director on Unravel at Coldwood Interactive. His name is Martin Sahlin. Welcome.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
It is nice to meet you. I just started your video game last night, and I'm totally in love with it so far through the first couple areas. I'm looking forward to playing the rest. It is out on Tuesday. That is why you're here. You're not here for your health. You're here to sell a video game, to promote it, to come out. So I appreciate you making the trip right around the corner from northern Sweden to San Francisco. It's just a short hop, skip, and a jump, right?
Yeah, sure. It's just around the corner.
If you just go right over the pole and then you're there, right? That it's a shortcut. So the first thing, Unravel is a game that we all fell in love with instantaneously at E3. I was at the E3 Judges Week prior to E3, where there's and it was shown off there. You were there, and that was that the first time anybody really people outside of EA and people outside the sort of studio saw the game?
Yeah, pretty much. That was the first glimpse people got.
And it was, for me, it was love at first sight because it very much reminded me of Limbo. It had an obvious, just the color palette and the sort of sense of nature to it. We'll get into all that. But I want to start with the story you told a little bit at that event. Was that you were? Tell me the story of where this game came from. Were you hiking or on vacation? Was it you were off in the woods somewhere? Yeah. And this game, this idea occurred to you, and you made Yarny, and then it went from there. Tell me about this.
Yeah, that pretty much. What happened was basically, it was kind of a tumultuous time actually at the company. We just had a previous project canceled, so at the time everybody was more or less just fired. it's the video game.
That
industry.
happens, right? That's
what happens. But so then I went off and just figured like, oh, this is going to be the last vacation. There's not going to be a job to come back from after this. But the odd thing about that whole setup was that, normally, like, I think in the video game industry, you kind of always deal with this little fear of failure. I guess that's something that everybody deals with. But in this case, failure had sort of already happened. So what happened was just like, I suddenly felt so totally like relaxed and comfortable and at ease and inspired as well. So that's where I was off in the woods with my family and just like, living in a tent and just doing our thing. And that's when this whole idea about making a game about love and the bonds between people really like took form and just turned into a real thing. So yes, it's just like the combination of the environment and also just like this whole thing about like the chaos at the company back home and everything. So like the big contrast, like this utter calm and awesome thing and this madness that's going on, and just trying to do something that was kind of like celebrating the bonds between people.
And I'm already seeing that through in the early parts of the game. There's I don't know, I think it's spoilers or review embargo or whatever. I guess I can't say too much, but that is very much a central theme to it right from the jump. So where does this little guy? Where does Yarny come into the picture then?
Yeah, that was basically what happened. Was that I had this idea, and it was just like I know it's not the way you're supposed to do things. You're supposed to always start building the game first and then build the story. But in this case, it was just like the story really, it just happened. It's not because I try to force it out. It's just like this idea that popped into my head that I had to do something out of, to make something about love and to have yarn symbolizing that love and to be a creature that was made out of yarn. So I was just trying to turn that like very rough and very, I admit it's kind of like flaky idea into something that was more solid, more tangible. But I was out in the woods and it didn't really have anything to work with. So that's when I figured that I should just try to build something. Like normally what I do when I design stuff at just like the really early stages, I kind of just tend to, I want to like sit with a controller and just close my eyes and just try to pretend to play the game. But in this case, I didn't really know what the game was yet. So I just decided maybe I should just build that character and see what it feels like and see what I can do with it. See what your skills could be or what your challenges could be. So what I did was I basically made this little doll from materials that I kind of scavenged and found. Like I peeled wire off an anchor cable to a boat and just made a little posable skeleton from that. And then I borrowed some yarn from a kid who was camping out nearby, which was quite weird, but it's like
hey kid, I need your yarn.
Exactly. He was super curious. He asked me like what do you need it for, what you can do with it, and I told him like if you wait 2 years you'll know. I'm not going to tell you now. So he was pretty curious, but it was also kind of funny because parts of that story parts of the things that happen on that I almost feels like made up because it just fits so well. It's just basically, pieces kept falling into place, and it was just slightly surreal. And
isn't that always how it happens? I hear like interviews with famous musicians about their legendary songs and how they wrote it in 15 minutes. Is the best ideas are always just quick like that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Just you never know when inspiration is going to hit you, but I guess it's about keeping an open mind and just recognizing it when it happens, and just going along with the flow, like trusting your gut feeling, essentially.
So, the way you're describing this, so was Unravel always going to be a puzzle platformer, or was there an original? Did it sort of evolve into that from something else?
At first it was going to be a game about love and the bonds between people, and it was going to be a game that featured a little character that was made out of yarn. So that's where it started. Yeah. And at that point, I didn't really know what it was going to be. But as soon as I started playing with it, and as soon as I started thinking about this character, and as I made this thing and started just posing it and seeing what it could do, that's basically the point where I figured that, yeah, this would make a really good puzzle platformer.
Had you played Limbo or other? Of course, Limbo
Yeah, I've
developed
played Limbo.
not
I love
in
Limbo. I
your
think
neck
it's
of the
awesome.
woods too. It's sort of
Oh yeah, it's
your region of the
yeah,
world anyway.
kind of. It's close enough, but yeah, I think it's awesome. But I mean, inspiration can come from so many different places as well. So it's not just about games. It's about music, and it's about things you see, places, people. Like, I mean, the actual spark of the whole thing came from like a friend sang a song at a party once.
Huh.
And
Okay, right on that mic. I don't want to miss a word of this. There we go.
I will not sing the song.
Oh, that's all right. I won't put you on the spot for that.
Yeah, so that was basically just something out of the lyrics that got me thinking along those lines. That about love being real,
a thread of
physical
life.
bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. Now let me back up a little bit. If Google has it correct, in your previous life you were a tattoo artist. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did that for a while. I was kind of like, I don't know, trying things out, being a kid essentially, and it turned out to be just the perfect thing to do for me at the time, because I didn't really have a lot of direction in my life or anything like that. I'm just so it was just like a cool thing to do, because you can take it anywhere and go anywhere and just basically do your thing and figure out what you wanted to do with your life. And it's also like, a reasonably artistic thing to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, it depends on what you do as well. It's one of those things. It's like, it's an awesome medium when you get to do what you want, but when you just get to like copy other people's designs, then it's a grind, and it's not much fun.
So did you go where it took you? Did you travel outside of your home to through Europe or anywhere else?
Maybe not as much as I would have liked. I didn't have time to do it enough, because it turned out that people really liked getting tattoos at the time. So I was just busy working. But yeah. It took me to China. That was fun.
Wow.
It was one of those like life moments, really.
So when we Google your name, if you Google your name, you may not know this, the first autocomplete thing that comes up is tattoo.
Okay.
Because let's if people haven't seen it, they might have seen it at E3. Yeah. What is the story behind this one? Because that's obviously a very intricate, that's a big decision right there that you put on your left hand.
Yeah. What's the story behind every tattoo? It's about trying to impress people, of course. No, it's not really that. It was sort of it was a combination of different things. It was that I really liked this tradition of like North Africa, India, where people paint with henna on their hands when there's like big celebrations like weddings and things like that, just like for good luck, good fortune, things like that. So I guess I wanted a version out of that, but also, I mean, in truth, it was also part of like a dare, because I was sharing a flat with a bunch of friends, and one of them had a hand tattoo, and he would just kept saying all the time that you would never dare to do that. You couldn't pull it off. It's just it hurts too much. You couldn't do it. So then I had to prove that, yeah, totally, I can.
So the male ego took over, and now you've got
Yeah, so that was quite interesting. So at the time, there weren't really that many tattoo artists in my city, far up north. So there was basically me sitting there as a young vegan hippie character wanting to get like a North African Indian party tattoo, and the guy who was doing it was like an old scruffy biker dude with like leather jackets. And it's
like, do you want a bald eagle or something instead?
Yeah. So he's like, so I can actually say that it doesn't actually look that much like the design I just provided him with. It was just like basically he took it and he said, yeah, whatever. And then it's like, oh, well, yeah, we might as well roll with it and see what happens.
Well, you are far more adventurous than I am. I'll tell you that much.
Well, it turned out good. So.
Good. It's good that you're happy with it, because if you're not, that's probably really difficult to get rid of.
Yeah, or I could just get my trademark glove or something like that.
That's true. You go the Michael Jackson look, just tattoo. Now, so how do you go from a life as a young tattoo artist to creative director at a video game studio? Where that's a leap probably not a lot of people have made, and I'm curious how that comes about.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've done a lot of stumbling in my life, actually, just really not having much of a plan, sort of just seeing what happens next. And I think that was, it was a really good stumble. I always did lots of like computer art and stuff. Like, I got an old Amiga when I was a kid.
Nice.
And just like painting with it and having so much fun with it, trying to do like early 3D graphics. So that was like a lot of fun, but I never sort of did anything with it. And I never had, like a lot of people, they always say like, oh, I knew all my life that I wanted to be a game developer, but I didn't really think of it like that. I made lots of computer art, and I was kind of like into the demo scene and everything. But I never really saw myself as a game developer. I just never had that thought because, I don't know, I guess, you think you can't do stuff or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's regular. That's a normal thing.
Yeah, but what happened then was that someone suggested, like, maybe you should go to this, they have a school where they teach computer graphics. So I just applied sort of on a whim and then to see what happened. And I got in. And once there, I ran into a friend, one of the founders of Coldwood, as it turns out. The thing is, like, I knew him from... Like in my city, in Umeå, we just have this really big music scene, like a lot of punk and hardcore and metal bands and stuff like that. So basically, I knew him from that because he had like a joke metal band, and I used to like jump on his head all the time. So then I ran into him there and said like, "What are you doing here?" And he said like, "What are you doing here?" And then we started talking, and they just founded Coldwood. So I joined and started as an artist, and as time went on, I realized that I wanted to do more than just like the art assets. I just wanted to get more and more into the design and the writing and that whole like creative process. So I just kind of like gradually shifted over to
I mean, would you recommend that sort of meandering path to other people in their lives? Because I could see how there's a lot of risk, I guess, inherent in, but where maybe you end up doing nothing and you have no idea what you want to do in life or how to get there. But in your case, you found a calling and found a path. But I could see also it's probably really healthy, sort of psychologically and creatively in a lot of ways, that you were sort of, whatever your life circumstances were with your family or with that you just had this freedom to sort of find your way through life till you arrived at what you were good at and what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, if you have a plan, stick with it. But if you don't worry about it so much, because you will eventually find out, I think. Yeah. And I think if there's like one lesson I learned or something, I think people always have to learn their own lessons. So it's kind of pointless to give them pointers anyway. But it's basically just, I guess, like, try to spend less time thinking that you can't do stuff, or just like try stuff instead, because it quite often works. And I know that, I mean, I've spent far too much time thinking that I just, I can't. But
yeah, and I think I agree. I mean, it seems like I know a lot of people ask us, oh, how do you get to do what you do? And like, well, you just have to just go start doing it and then start just, right? Isn't that always, you can't sit there and think that, oh, I wish that would happen to me. You have to go out and make it happen, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So were you a video game player as a kid at all? As you mentioned, sort of messing around with the art stuff on the Amiga, but did you play games as well?
Yeah, I played games. I did. There were like really few console gamers at the time. I think I had one friend who had like the NES.
Yeah.
He was popular.
Popular kid.
But yeah, mostly we played Amiga games, actually. So... But yeah, they've been like, games have been like a part of my life always. It's always been like an important thing to me. So.
Yeah, I had an Amiga for a friend of. I remember. Was it a Ghostbusters game? What were some of your favorites on the Amiga?
I really loved the Cinemaware stuff. If you remember those, like
that, I don't.
They were all styled to feel like old movies. So they had like a gangster game where you were trying to take over Chicago, and one where like, it came from the desert.
I remember there was a version of that came later on the TurboGrafx. Yeah, so I remember that.
Yeah.
That
and I think my favorite one was Wings. The one's like a World War I flying game.
Right.
So which was really good as well. And obviously, like the LucasArts stuff, like Monkey Island and stuff, was brilliant.
That's you've just gone up in my book. I love it.
But I think actually, I think the game that we actually had the most fun with was probably this was really fun. I went to PAX last year, and they had like this retro section, which like wounds me to see them calling it retro and strange.
We're all getting older, Martin.
Yeah, but, I know, but they had Stunt Car Racer on an Amiga there, and like Stunt Car Racer, we had so much fun with that because that was like the first like network game. Like we put these like weird cables and just played head to head, and I think the frame rate was about like 4 or something, but it was super fun. Just very crazy.
So now you've had this idea for Yarny and for Unravel and this game about love and the bonds of family, and you start to make it. How do you hook up with EA? Because the indie scene is thriving nowadays. Steam and Steam Greenlight and Early Access and ID at Xbox and the PSN indie scene. It's all there's so much opportunity there's so many platforms to get your games out there. I would think most indies would kill to have a major publisher like EA in their corner. So how do you and I mean this respectfully, but how do you with your little game end up with EA, a publisher that's publishing $80 million things like Mass Effect and Madden and all these things?
Yeah, it's a funny story. No, we did work with them before. Like we did lots of little lesser known games, like called what has been around for quite a while. But we did a PC port of Bad Company 2. So
interesting.
So we had.
I'm learning something today. This is
yeah,
good.
Exactly. So we kind of knew them from there, and also, I mean, they're Swedish, and we're Swedish, so we do talk. So
it's all about who you know, isn't it?
A little bit,
in like literally
but
in any field.
It's also a little bit about what you show as well, because what we showed them was pretty far along. It was just not. It wasn't just like the bare bones idea. It was more developed at the time, and it was just one of the strangest and most fun pitch meetings I've ever been to. Because
go on. Yes, I'm curious to hear why.
Well, because I came there expecting to pitch the game, and we showed a level, and we were asked a couple of questions, and then we met with Patrick Söderlund, and he just took over from then on and just started pitching EA to us instead, which is. And honestly, I mean, if you know how this industry works, when you are the little developer that's from the little known place up in the north of Sweden, and you've made little known games, and just basically, you don't expect that treatment because you kind of like pretty used to being a bit bullied by publishers.
Right, you got to fight for everything you get, right?
Yeah, exactly. But in this case, it was like he was super humble and super honest, and just very, very he pitched a good game. It was very interesting, and also just really cool. And the thing that I enjoyed was just he told us, he was very upfront about this and told us that this isn't a game that we really need financially as such, because we are making money already.
Right.
But it's a game that we need creatively. It's something that we really want to do. We're really passionate about doing this, and we feel very strongly about it. And that to me was like all I needed to hear, because that's why we're doing this, because we're passionate about it, and to have an organization like that, like an infrastructure like that, it's just it's pretty awesome actually.
So you mentioned that the game was already fairly far along when you did meet with EA, which is somewhat different than the norm. A lot of times those meetings happen early in the process. So were you already feeling really good about what you had, and then if so, did the EA meeting just solidify all that, or were you not sure heading into that meeting if what you had was good and if it was going to work? And then I guess I'm just kind of, where were you heading into that meeting, and then when you get Patrick just fighting, suddenly pitching EA for you, how do you feel coming out of it?
High fives. Like actually, literally, honestly, high fives afterward.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but no, it's strange because you're kind of worried but not worried at the same time, because it's hard to say it without sounding slightly arrogant, but I pretty much knew that they would like it, because at that time, so many people had seen it.
Yeah,
and
friends,
everybody
family
really liked it. And I mean, even from the very first stage, like when I was just telling people about the idea, you could still see them really connecting, really getting it, which kind of, you know, you sort of feel that you're on to something.
Yeah.
And then we started building it, and just it turns out quite lovely. Like, you know that this is something that could really, really be something. But you're still worried, because you think that what if we just get steamrolled and you know, it doesn't turn out the way we want it to? What if our nice thing that we have just gets, you know, taken and you know, it's I don't know, like ruined or something, whatever.
Yeah.
The fears you
Something
might have
could still
as a
go
creator.
wrong,
Yeah.
right?
But then just everything just turned out pretty much perfect. So there were actual literal high fives afterwards.
I love hearing that. I mean, I can tell you, it's when I first saw it in last May, it was instantaneous. It really was. So I can totally understand where they're coming from. So let's talk about E3 last year.
Okay.
You were on stage presenting the game to a auditorium full of people and hundreds of thousands of more watching online. I think, is it fair to say you seemed a little nervous?
Yeah, it's fair to say. I mean, I saw the video and I do look kind of nervous.
But here's the thing: you were so sincere about, as you are now. I met you 20 minutes ago. I can already you totally won everybody. Like the entire internet, everybody was won over instantaneously by both you and the game. So, how did you feel after you got off stage?
That was pretty wild. The idea was that I was supposed to just walk right off stage and hurry off to do an IGN broadcast.
Thank you, by the way.
Oh, I just name dropped you. But
thanks for saying IGN and not, some other competitor.
But I sort of made a little deal with them and said, like, I want to just stay 2 minutes more, because I want to see people actually watching the trailer and just want to see like the reactions. And just
absolutely.
savor this
You've earned
moment
that,
for a while. So I did that and just like snuck up to the side of the stage and just looked at everybody, because it was so cool. Like when you walk out on stage and people look at you like, who are you?
You're not Peter Moore. I don't know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. But then you can kind of feel the mood in the room shifting as you talk and as you show things, and you sort of feel the whole room turning, and by the end it's just it's like, smiles and applause.
EA's showing something new and not like the same annual thing. Sorry to the EA person in the room, no disrespect.
But it was just like, it was a hugely emotional moment, and also like the whole thing leading up to that moment as well. It had been kind of a tumultuous year for me for a lot of different personal reasons, and it's always like making a game it's a struggle, it is a journey, and every journey has ups and downs, and you really when you're making something this personal, it can sometimes be kind of like this is really challenging, this is hard. But also, so there was that, like this whole thing about like personal struggles, but also just it's something that you've longed for so long. Like from the first moment, like when I showed it to my kids, like the first day, then I was just starting to kind of like think about like how cool will it be when we can actually share this with the world. And it's like it was like 2 long years of just waiting to finally, like, here's this little thing that I made that I really love and that I hope that you will love as well. But just basically just it was such an emotional moment, just so much that just like was converging on that single like point on that in time. It was very, very intense and just really, it was a big deal.
That's a beautiful thing. And so when you looked out into that crowd as they were watching the trailer, what did you see?
Just smiles and these there's just something you can see in people's eyes when you know that they're like really looking. They're
Yeah.
not just watching, but they're really into it.
Nobody's texting. Nobody's.
Yeah.
They're actually
so that
taking
was
it
just,
in.
that was a pretty big deal and pretty cool to do.
Did you read any of the subsequent media coverage after E3? I mean, or are you the kind of person that just doesn't want to read any of that stuff?
I've read some of it, but it was also kind of funny because we were. It was one of the most surreal nights of my life. We were sitting in the lobby of the hotel where everybody was staying, and we were making little stunt yarnies because we figured we were going to have a bit of a photo shoot.
Yeah, bring them around LA, right?
Yeah. So we had a bunch of people sitting around making yarnies, which was really fun, and it was like literally every second or just messages, notifications kept popping up, and everything was like so super nice. So in the end, I had to turn everything off because I figured like I'm gonna go insane with this. It's just like bing, 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 bing all the time. Just
Yeah.
So much nice stuff, and they have these people at EA who their job is kind of like to monitor conversation. Like they
Sure.
they see what the internet is saying about stuff, and they were like running around and saying like there's 0% negative sentiment. This has never happened before. This is unreal. There's not a single negative comment on the entire internet. Like, what is this? You've turned the internet nice.
I'm glad somebody finally could do it.
So that was pretty cool.
So after that, then was your entire team with you at E3 or?
No, there was me and two other guys.
How big's the team, out of curiosity?
There's 14 of us.
So it's
they
fairly small.
They had a party back home and invited like the musicians and a bunch of people who worked on it, and it's really cool because they filmed it, and I've seen that afterwards, and you know if you ever want to cry, that's like the stuff you want to watch because. You know, like in these old movies when you're sitting in the smoky room with like your single whiskey glass.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I'll be like rolling back, just seeing those people watching the reveal. Because if people thought I was nervous, it's nothing compared to how nervous they were. Everybody was like, they looked like they would burst.
So when you get back then and reunite with the team, are you empowered? Are you renewed with a surge of confidence to spend at that point, you know, the 8 months or whatever since then, or is there a fear that comes in like, oh no, there's expectations now and people are excited? How is the mindset for you in the studio after that incredibly positive reveal at E3?
Yeah, I think it was very, very, very positive. I mean, it was huge. It was a very big deal, and I think everybody had this kind of sense that yeah, this is pretty good. You know, people are probably going to like that. But I don't think anybody was even like remotely prepared for what actually happened. But then it just turned into this thing of like, how do we get like the most benefit out of this? Like, how can we make this into like the best thing it could possibly be? There is a slight amount of fear involved, I guess. But I don't know, it feels wrong to call it fear. It's more like, the way I see it is, it's like, it's very easy to fall in love with an idea.
Yeah.
Because an idea is still, you know,
it can be anything.
It can be anything. All the doors are still open. But when you have an actual real finished thing, it's never going to be quite the same as the idea people had about it. So that was the slight worry I had. That, like, I know that now that people really love and embrace this whole theme for a game, but it's a different thing to just actually, you know, have them feeling the same way about the real finished thing. But it was pretty good because then we got to take the game to Gamescom not too far after E3.
Yeah.
And also, even we didn't have that many people playing it at E3 because we didn't have a very big booth.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see people wait in line for 2 hours to play the game for 15 minutes and go back out and get back into the line to play it some more, then you know that, you know, wow, the idea and the real thing might actually, you know, work.
So I started playing the game last night, and I hope I'm not breaking any rules here, but there is a message that you guys put in when the game starts. I want to read it real quick. It says, "Welcome to Unravel, a game made by Coldwood. Over the last 2.5 years, we've poured our love into this game, and we're thrilled that we finally get to share it with you. Games can be powerful things, and they give even a small studio like ours a chance to speak with the entire world as an audience. So with that in mind, we figured we had to speak from the heart. That's how Unravel came to be. That's why it deals with topics like love, longing, and mending broken bonds. It's in your hands now, finally. Make of it what you will. We're really glad and honored for all the support we've gotten, so thank you for that and for reading this, and we hope you enjoy the game. What was the decision? Why did you put that message in there? I'm curious. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I appreciated reading it. I'm sort of where most developers don't do that though, or if they do, they put it in the credits at the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, like for several different reasons, but I think it's just I think one of the things about games that is really, really cool is that you can reach so many people, that you can have such a strong bond with so many people.
Yeah.
And I guess what we wanted to do was just like really let people know that we appreciate that we appreciate people giving us their time and their attention and, you know, listening to what we have to say. And so we just wanted to put a little thank you in there and just know that, you know, this is...
I think it's wonderful. I mean, I read that, and it's just the sincerity and the humility just comes through, and I like to see more games that sort of try to connect with players emotionally.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that really inspired me to do this, or just motivated me to make this game. That this revelation I had, actually, you can call it, when we did a fighting game a couple of years back, a really poor fighting game. Now it had its good moments, but it was kind of flawed in a lot of different ways. But the thing that sort of shocked me about it was that it really did reach a pretty big audience. It turned out to be pretty popular. So, and then I was a bit shocked when I realized that, 600,000 people have played this, and this is a game that's essentially like a failure. Like, imagine how big the audience for a successful game would be for a game that's actually any good. So I just realized, if you take that and put it into another context, like imagine speaking in front of 600,000 people, that you have their complete attention for hours and hours.
Right.
Like, that doesn't happen much. That's,
you don't get a lot of opportunities.
No,
for
that's something super rare and something you should really appreciate and try to make the most of. And what I realized about that game is some people found it entertaining, whatever, but it didn't have a single thing to say. It didn't have anything worth really, remembering, cherishing, and treasuring. It was just it was a distraction, a diversion, and I just felt like, games could be so much more than this, and I wanted to make something that, even though it's still just a game, it's a game that at least will make you feel slightly happier afterwards, hopefully.
Well, it almost sounds like you had kind of an epiphany.
A little bit like that.
It sounds to me, what I'm hearing from you is that if, sometimes game development realities are such that you need to do what you need to do to keep the studio open or pay the bills, whatever it is. But it sounds to me like you have, it is your goal to always make sure your games have something to say from now on.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I think it's fine to make games that are just for fun as well.
Sure,
because
of course.
They're games. But the thing is if everybody does that, then nobody's going to try to push any kind of boundaries. If we all do the same thing, nothing good ever comes of that. So we need that diversity, and we need just people trying new things and trying to do more meaningful things.
So are we going to get any official Yarny figures that we can buy for those of us that are too lazy and or unskilled to make our own? Is that a thing? Because I literally will take my wallet out right now.
Well, you saw the guide that I put out.
But again, lazy, unskilled, two things that are...
Yeah, well, what I can say is that we get asked that question.
Fund that next game, Martin.
A lot, a lot of times. So at some point, I guess we will eventually be forced to answer it.
Excellent. last question I have for you. I'm gonna be the total typical awful gamer right now, and look ahead before the thing that we're even here to talk about is even here, which is Tuesday. Xbox One, PS4, PC. Unravel is the game. It is $19.99 on those platforms. Download it digitally. That's why you're here. What's next for you now that you've said that you've said something with Unravel? We're all playing it now, or we're going to play it next week. Are we going to do another Unravel game? Are you going to disappear into the woods and come back with another amazing idea? Where do you go from here?
Somewhere good, I hope. I think what I want to do is just take some time to just like land.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, with a game like this, it does open a lot of doors. It does
deservedly so
enable new cool things. But what I want to do the most is that when we did this, it was very much like, my game. I went off into the woods and came back with, here's the thing, we shall make this. Which sometimes that's really awesome. Sometimes in life you really want to do those things because you feel like you have so much that you want to say. But this time I would really like it to be more of like the whole team getting together and let's make it more of our thing. I mean, everybody has really embraced it, totally, like putting their hearts and souls into it and made it theirs. But this time, I would kind of like it to be like everybody's in it right from the beginning, right from the start, because I think that's just like, I'm curious to see like what kind of stuff we can bring out of it.
Are you? Has your family played the game yet? I presume.
Yeah, they've tried it.
What's been the family reaction? Do we get honest feedback from the kids? Like, I hate this part, or do you use them for focus testing?
Yeah, you should hear my kids playing games. They're brutal. Like they're merciless. They will call you out on every single thing. Like, is that finished? Is that supposed to do that?
Oh man!
But yeah, they are super positive, and I've tried to sneak them into the game.
I was just going to ask if there were Easter eggs in there for them.
There's a whole book full of it.
Will you read the reviews next week? Will you pay attention to what people think, or will you do your best to avoid that stuff?
I think I will eventually be forced to anyway. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what people have to say about it, and that's something that also, I mean, to me it's like, it's not super important that everybody loves it, but I really want like some people to really love it.
Of course.
But we set out to make something that's very personal. That's something that's from the heart. But the goal is that when people play it, it feels personal to them. It doesn't feel like they're playing our thing. It feels like they're playing their thing. So that's kind of what I'm looking for and hoping for, that people just take it and embrace it and have fun with it and just make it theirs.
Well, Martin, congratulations on finishing Unravel. We will all be playing it next week on Xbox One, PC, or the PlayStation 4, downloading it digitally for $20. I'm in the middle of it right now, and so far so good. And the IGN review will post next week. I can't wait to go home and play more, actually. Thank you so much for coming in, and thanks for coming to San Francisco.
Yeah, it's always nice.
I felt really good the last couple weeks. I don't feel good about this at all.
All right, well, here we go. It's Unlock Block Trivia time. Our winner this week, not even going to attempt this gentleman's last name. This is a really, really impressive last name.
His first name's tough,
tough,
too.
A lot of vowels.
First name's a toughie.
M-A-R-K is Mark, Marty. Pretty close to your name, honestly.
Marky.
So Mark from up in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, he wins this week for his Australia question. No one will know this. I sure did not. Yeah,
phone a friend.
If only I'd gotten this question last week, but it's a recent addition to the Podcast Unlocked mailbag. But anyway, Mark's going to win himself a copy of a video game. I've got a few good ones around. Tomb Raider Definitive, Life is Strange, Still plenty of Gears of War codes for backwards compatible Gears games. And the question is this: everybody's got their answers. This is good. So, the original Xbox had a video game and an Australian rules football game that was exclusive to Australia, obviously. The game was called AFL Live. Question was, who developed / published it? Acclaim, EA, 2K, or Konami? I say I definitely would not have gotten this. I remembered, it's funny, when I saw AFL, EA did make one Arena Football League game.
Oh.
If you guys know Arena Football.
Yep.
Which I think is still going. It was kind of a fun little summer mini sport.
All of them.
But anyway, there was an Australian rules football game that was released for the Xbox in the original Xbox down in Australia. What do you think, guys? I'm going to go to, let me see what we're doing on the scoring. I'll go to Destin first.
So before I give my answer, I want to preface this by talking about this guy for a second. He opens by saying, "I just got an Xbox One. My last console was a GameCube."
Damn, you've been missing out on some cool games.
He must be in heaven. Like, he's getting the 360 games. He's getting awesome Xbox One games.
He's probably been a PC gamer ever since.
Maybe, I don't know.
Could be. Playing that sweet game.
Well,
Boy.
Destin with your paltry 1 point on the scoreboard.
Destin.
I picked Acclaim A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mitch?
I also said Acclaim A because that seems like the kind of bad decision.
Yeah, that led to their demise.
I picked EA B just because of the live.
Yeah, that threw me off too.
Right. Well, we do have a correct answer.
One, it's Marty.
Damn it! Nope. 2 of you.
All right.
It was
Curveball.
Acclaim.
You said a correct answer. I thought it was a singular human.
There is only one correct answer.
That's
See?
true.
See what I did there? So Mitch at 4 points. I believe you are 4 for 4 this year, my friend.
I am a
You're on fire right
You're a
now.
hoop god.
You are a hoop
I'm a door god. That's how good I am. I'm door god status.
So yes, Marty misses out.
Mitch
Mitch at 4, Destin at 2, Marty at 3.
Literally
Got a-
twice as good as Destin.
Mitch, I have a
great race
bunch of
right
videos next month I need you to go do editorial lead on. Just go ahead. You go take care of that.
Sorry, Destin. I'm leading GDC and kicking your ass in trivia. all
So,
year.
Mark, welcome back to the console world.
And our podcast.
Hope you're enjoying your Xbox One. Yeah, thanks for listening to the podcast. You're going to win yourself a video game. You should already have an email from me about that. And
Copy of AFL Live 2017.
we updated the rosters.
Just like Tecmo.
Yeah. So if you would like to win a video game and get your question read on the air, send in an Xbox-related trivia question. Not too easy, not too hard, not one we've done before or a million times before. Include 4 multiple-choice answers in your email. Note the correct one. And send it where, Mitch?
Unlocked@IGN.com.
Fantastic. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
This is a ridiculously long, probably 2 hours this week
apologize.
with the interview.
I'm sorry.
People like the long podcasts.
Don't apologize anymore.
I used to get mad when one of yours was fewer than 3 hours long. You're ripping me off.
Destin, what are you up to? What should we be following you with and keeping track of?
Next Monday, I'm starting production of the IGN First stuff. Mostly, though, that credit goes to Brandon Tyrell. He's doing a lot of the work, but I'm just kind of making sure it's
More
going along
Division
smoothly.
stuff happening?
Yeah, so a
all
lot of
month long?
Division stuff. I'm working with James Duggan to produce Division content also separately. We're going to be doing some Street Fighter stuff in a few weeks. And
Awesome.
follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Destin channel. Played some Destiny last night, and a lot of people seem to enjoy that.
Cool.
And Twitter, of course, @DestinLegary.
Brilliant. Mitchell.
Twitter is @MitchyD. Please, for the love of God, bookmark our GDC hub, IGN.com/GDC, when that event happens, because I'm slaving away planning that event.
I'll be
for
there.
us. Gonna be some cool stuff.
I have a really good unfiltered guest lined up
I don't
for
even
that.
know this one.
Miyamoto.
Not
Marty
that good,
Sleva.
but really good.
Somewhere between Marty Sleva and Miyamoto.
Be relevant to this audience, I'll tell you that much.
Marty Moto.
Yeah, I'm relevant to this audience.
See? It could be you.
Listen to IGN Overclock. That's our PC podcast.
Yeah.
Excellent. Marty Sleva.
You can find me on Bumble at McBiggity, 2 G's and 2 T's. Yeah.
Is that a new social network?
It's a
No,
dating
Bumble's,
thing.
I'm not on Bumble. Bumble's a dating thing, and it's about bees, and so only women can instigate the first message with men.
Who are the birds?
No, bees.
They're
Like queen bee.
pollinating.
Yeah.
Birds and bees was my joke.
Birds
So
and
if you-
bees. Jesus, there was a projectile.
angry.
There's a dog on this
Give me,
pen.
give me that dog pen.
Marty's going to have an allergic reaction.
Yeah, I do Overclock a lot of times with Mitch. I'm on Podcast Beyond. I'm going to DICE with Andrew Goldfarb, so we're going to have a bunch of coverage out of there, including the fireside chat between Kojima and Guillermo del Toro.
Getting some drinks in Vegas.
Definitely be getting some Vegas.
Vegas bongus.
Vangus Bugus.
What's
Drinks are free.
Marty's?
How would
Where
the
can
company
where
not?
can listeners find it? Which bar do you belly up to in Vegas? Which casino? Where can we find Marty?
I hate Vegas. I don't even know what this is.
Vegas is really awful.
The Cosmo, the Wynn, the Burnside,
Luxor,
Luxor. I like that one because it's a pyramid.
Paris, New
Paris.
York.
Yeah, we stayed at Circus during CES, and there was a lack of circus-themed things. No, we stayed at Treasure Island. That's why there was a lack of circus-themed things. That explains that one.
Where are all the elephants?
All right. I gotta go out there because I solved that mystery.
How drunk was Marty? Now we know.
I was surprisingly sober. I wasn't.
Oh man,
Yeah, there's that.
sweet.
Be
Are
good
you
to each
reviewing anything coming up that we should be watching for?
No, I
Not yet?
reviewed Gravity Rush. I don't know what I'm on next.
Yeah. All right.
All you guys keep taking all the games I want to review, which is fine because then I just play them myself.
I'm excited to play
Yeah, it works
XCOM
out,
2.
doesn't it?
Yeah, dude. Out Friday.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's not an
It
Xbox
is really
game.
good. It's PC.
Yeah.
It runs on Windows. Shut up.
Yeah, it will be.
conflict.
It'll be on console this year.
You think?
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. Click the link in my Twitter profile page for some fun t-shirts you might like for yourself. It'll be t-shirt season again before you know it. Woo! Coexist, y'all. Speaking of which, I'm reviewing a game that's not for Xbox, but it's anticipated. It is on PC and PS4. It's called Firewatch. Look for my review on Monday morning.
That
for
comes out real soon.
Yeah, it's out Tuesday. Review goes up Monday.
And we have a lot more to come for Firewatch after the review.
Yeah, we did a. Can we say we did a big spoiler cast?
Yeah.
we did a big spoiler cast.
It is recorded.
That's where you talk about the game.
Yeah, we had a bunch of Campo San
We had
Antonio
like a 90-minute interview. There were 6 people in this
This room
room.
got real
it
hot.
was
Mitch and
super
I
hot,
shared a
man.
microphone.
Real
It was like the
sexy.
Lady in the Tramp spaghetti scene.
Play that game, then watch Spoiler Cast.
Yes.
Because it's going to be cool.
The review will be spoiler free, by the way. I will note that.
Yeah.
Also, I bet that game eventually comes to Xbox. Also,
I hope so. God,
the,
I mean,
that'd be
the
great.
Witness.
Silly that-
there's keep more and more rumors about the Witness coming to Xbox, which is
hope
good.
so,
'cause it's
too.
a very good video game.
Yeah.
He needs more money, so
Who doesn't?
he made $5 million already.
Yeah, but he
That's
spent literally
that's
Yeah.
revenue. That's not.
and he has a
yeah.
team. He spent literally every penny he has.
Has not
after break.
profited on that game yet.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
No.
yeah.
Oh, well.
No
That game's been in
profit.
development 7 years.
That's a guy that
Support
really
game
cares about
creators.
making good shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Let's see.
M
so,
rating
yeah,
for the show. No, it's kidding.
mention Twitter. The
7404.
Division IGN first, and the other one, just unfiltered. I'm super proud of it. I really hope that people will watch it so that nobody at IGN tells me I can't do it anymore. It'd be really awesome if I got to keep doing that. So again, you can find Unfiltered. This episode 3 is with Aaron Greenberg. It's on IGN, on YouTube, or on iTunes. So it's everywhere. But one guy in the comments was like, I'd rather read this. Like, I'm not going to transcribe. You know how long an hour? No one would sit there and read that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, just get an audio form. Just go for a walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Episode 1, if you missed it, because I'm still hearing from a lot of people who are like, oh, this is cool. Have you done any other ones? Episode 1 was Tim Schafer. Episode 2 was Josh Holmes, who's the studio head on Halo 5.
Do we have like a hub article page for that? We should just start like adding those to one page.
That is a great idea. I will do it immediately after this meeting. You're welcome. Thank you, Mitch Dyer.
You can get a go.ign link for this is good. This is good.
We did
Also,
it, everybody. Teamwork.
This is good teamwork. I appreciate this. So, you can find out how Josh Holmes originally auditioned for Chris O'Donnell's Robin role in Batman Forever. That's a weird story that he told on my show.
It's also super weird because Tim Schafer also auditioned for that role.
So did Aaron Greenberg.
Oh, I noticed the trend.
That's the thread that connects all
So
of
did
them.
Miyamoto.
Anyway,
Chris O'Donnell's coming up next week.
So that's that. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Martin Sahlin. I want to really, really thank him. He was a fantastic. He happened to be in San Francisco, and like at the last minute, I asked if he could come in here, and he went right from here to the airport to
That's
go
awesome.
home. So
Wow.
very kind of him to
Sweetheart
take the
man
time.
making a sweetheart game.
Yeah,
Yarn boy.
and but I hope you noticed the Yarny that was sitting right there, Mitch.
Why'd you
He
let him
was
take
sitting
it?
No!
Why'd you let him take it? You had one job.
Sam
Well, you had
has
2
it.
jobs. One job was to do a really good interview, and you did it.
It's still here.
He
The other
made
job
it.
was to take the Yarny.
But he made it. I can't take it.
Once you create
Marty,
something,
it's here in
no
the
longer
office.
belongs
If you
to
love
you.
it, let
It's
it
on
go.
Sam's desk.
Oh, that's the fake Yarny, though. That's not the real Yarny.
This
Oh.
was
Imposter.
a real one. This is real.
All right.
The real thing.
Not happy
Anyway, this was Unlocked 231. My goodness. You know, next week is
P-drums.
Woo!
You guys like palindromes way too much.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Don't know why. No logic or reason for it. For Marty Sleva, Mitch Dyer, and Destin Legary, my name is Ryan McCaffrey. Thanks for tuning in to Podcast Unlocked each and every week. Love you.
Bye.